This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. And that's all I have to say about that. Welcome to the show. We're live.
Oh, we are live.
Welcome, everybody, to X&C Podcast. This is episode 188. We are diving into the middle of February, the shortest month, and the games are pouring in like crazy. But I'm really excited today because we are also celebrating the actual legit live birthday of Mag, who's 50 years old today, still old enough to game. Still has got his facility so you can hold a controller. Older than a ball sack. Middle-aged game guy, bro. Happy 50th.
Yes. It's soon going to be old game guy, but not yet, folks. I'm still middle-aged, right? So we still got another 10 years before I have to change my name to old man game guy or whatever the hell we're going to do. And then I have to redo all my tattoos now. That's not going to work. Anyways, today, on February 17th, I am now 50 years old. It also marks, if you can believe it, folks, I've been gaming for 46 years. I've been holding a joystick, no pun intended, for 46 years. I've been playing games, and it's been one hell of a ride. And I can't believe if you fast forward from 1979 when I first picked up my first Pong controller, and then you fast forward 46 years all the way to now. Here we are on the air talking to thousands and thousands of beautiful gamers out there in this world. Yep. And we're still doing this thing, man. And it just means, you know what it means? It means we love what we do, man. We love this industry. Yeah, we love the gaming. Something. We love the gaming business. We love doing what we do. But anyways, my heart goes out to everybody out there for all the support and everything else. Hey, look, I even got a birthday present today. The Mag Show's merch has finally shown up. It's going to be available on the channel soon. I'm not trying to plug anything. I'm just going to show you. Check it out.
I'm not going to plug it, but I'm going to plug it.
There it is.
I love it.
There's the Mag Show. The Mag Show. There it is. The Mag Show swag is going to be available very soon, probably by the end of the week, man. It's going to be exciting. But either way, we're here to talk about gaming, not about my old ass. So, Colt.
No, well, before we will talk about you, about you for just a second. Everybody who's like our age, like if you're a Gen Xer, you probably started off with Pong, but anybody can tell that story. But what's your favorite first game from memory? Besides Pong that you remember that you played that you're like, this is cool.
One that really like had an impact on me that would actually affect me to this day.
Yeah. I
would have to say the original King's Quest in 1982 on the PC Junior, ladies and gentlemen. That's a home PC. It had 128K, and it cost like $3,000 back in 1982.
It's more money
to get this
Encyclopedia Britannica back then.
Oh, dude, it was no kidding, right? It was ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. But either way, King's Quest 1 was the first time that I realized video games could actually be more than just beep, bops, and boops on a screen and just like pixels and dots. This is when they actually were able to put a story in there, and it changed everything for me, and it literally changed the entire trajectory of my gaming career. So, well, like I'm saying gaming career, but it really is 46 years, man. But like, yeah, Pong is fun. You know, you got the little thing, and you're hitting the balls and back and forth and blah 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 blah, and then you go into like Miss Pac-Man, which is still right back over there, folks.
Yep,
it's in the back there. I got my Miss Pac-Man cabinet right back there. And the thing is, that was my favorite arcade game of all time was Miss Pac-Man. And then, of course, I got my other ones. I got my Street Fighter there, and I got my Mortal Kombats, and I got my Dragon's Lair and everything else that's in here. And I loved all those games, but they were just games. They were just something that you have fun with. You know, you pop in a quarter, you do your thing, you move on with your life. You kill a little time, you know, smoke a cigarette, this and that, and hang out with your friends in the late 80s and early 90s and this and that. And it was cool and all that. And you comb your mullet in the bathroom to make sure you look good for all the chicks. And you did all that, but it didn't do anything for gaming. It was just fun. It was just, you just fart around. You just go, you're in the local bowling alley in the local Wizard's Castle. That was the name of the arcade that I used to go to, and whatever. But when I played King's Quest, and for any of you graybeards out there who know what I'm talking about, it was the first time that they used 3D technology that you were able to walk around on a map, like a real map, and you go from screen to screen. And my dad was so into it too that like my dad actually drew full-size maps, and he hand drew every screen. And then when we got to the next screen, he would draw that, and he would label them as being like, the
So you can
boulder.
map it out.
Right. So like if you like started off on the beach, that would be that one. And then all of a sudden you go to the next screen, and then there'd be like, that was the place where there was a troll under a boulder or whatever, and this and that. And he just did these huge maps, hand-drawn maps, and he would put them on the ground, and we would look at them and refer to them. We draw arrows and stuff. Okay, we got to go this way. We got to go this way. And then the story was engaging. It always had something to do with fairy tales, right? There was Little Red Riding Hood was in there, and Dracula was there, and you're like, well, what do you do with Dracula? Right, you have to stab him with a stake and this and that or whatever. And it was just so awesome. And it was the first time that you really had to use your brains as a gamer. And then that literally changed the entire trajectory of my life in terms of gaming, where now, if you fast forward to now, what am I playing now? And what are we all playing now? We're playing RPGs, which is basically kind of what it was. Adventure games, your King's Quest.
It was Dungeons and Dragons brought into an electronic world.
Sure,
is what those
exactly.
were.
And that's what it changed for me. And now to this day, my favorite games are still Tomb Raiders, your Uncharted's, games that with stories, RPG games. What else is out there? Like Resident Evils. Resident Evil's my favorite series of all time.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, right? I'm talking about from like a third party stuff, whatever. But like, yeah, and that's why in that game changed that trajectory where I needed that, an enriching story and everything else like that. Now, speaking of which, can we get into your talk? Can we get into, speaking of adventure and about RPGs and all that stuff, is it too early to talk about your review about Avowed?
No, I've got it on the docket. Before you got out of the retro thing, I wanted to, you didn't give me a chance to say that you were talking about all this good stuff and bringing up all these good memories. And I remember when I
never
was
asked
young.
you, my bad. I never asked you.
It's your birthday, but you brought up
me.
You brought up all these memories because Pitfall was the first time I remember a video game on television, like being an actual thing. But I don't think I got into gaming until I was about 6, not 4 like you. I'm so fortunate that for the most part, most of my life, I've been able to say, look at this. I can't believe how good this looks. Look at how amazing games look. I remember like going to a Fred Meyer for people who grow up around in the West Coast or Pacific Northwest, going into a grocery store and seeing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game in like 1989 and thinking, oh my gosh, it's the cartoon come to life, or seeing Double Dragon, or I remember the first time I played Gran Turismo on my PlayStation 1, I'm like, we're playing an actual real life, like it's like this is real life. And now you look back, you're like, ooh, brother, ooh. But
brother, ooh.
It's so good. And some of that's gonna actually relate to what we'll talk about with Avowed. But let me look at this stuff before we get going here. Yeah, that is one of the first things we're gonna get into. But I don't know. RPGs have been a big life-changing thing for me. I remember when my friend said, "Hey, borrow my Legend of Zelda on NES," and he handed me the gold cartridge. I'm like, I don't want nerd. I don't want to play that. Like, I just thought that was so dumb. And then when you just find out there's a whole world of adventure out there for you, I did the same thing with Skyrim. Yeah. So RPGs have been a big thing, and leveling up has been like a core part of how we live our lives as gamers. Like, we're always pushing for that XP. We're pushing to level up. And this is a really good time because XP is a big part of our life, isn't it, Mag?
It certainly is. Do you know how many XPs?
I don't know. They're like double XP, or
I don't know, maybe 3 XP. Didn't Call of Duty just have a double XP this weekend?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, they did. All right, cool. Well, actually, you know what, Colteastwood? You know the only XP that actually really matters is 4 XP. That's right, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 XP, ladies and gentlemen. 4xp.com. Go to the website right now, 4xp.com. There's a couple things that we could do there, but listen, I got to tell you something really exciting, man. They've got an amazing promotion going on right now. You got to try this. And, well, hence the name. It is a try before you buy or a test before you invest. Let me tell you what you do. All you get is a starter kit. You're going to get a 1 XP, 4 clear shaker. I don't know, Cole, if you have one in front of you. You got the clear shaker. It's got 3 joysticks. I
don't have the clear one here.
It's okay. He's got the other one, though. It's got three joysticks, all flavors. Okay, you've got Ultra Nightmare, Legendary, Gravewalker. It's got all the ones over there. And guess what, folks? no charge at all. You could get those things for free to give them a try. All you got to do is pay for the shipping and handling. That's it. So if you want to give it a try and say, hey, listen, man, I want to get some of that Grave Walker, and you want to get it on with that Grave Walker, and you want to check it out, you want to get that Ultra Nightmare, you want to get any of the 3 flavors, and you don't want to commit to the actual tub yet, you'll be like, you know what? I'm not really 100% sure. Just try before you buy. They'll send you one. You just got to pay for the shipping and handling, and there you go, folks. You can get that 4xp.com, baby, because you know what? You can't do it with 2, can't do it with 3. You can only do it with 4. And let me tell you something. Next double XP weekend that we got going on, I'm going to host a big Call of Duty party, and we're going to have a big 4xp party right online with everybody and all the fans out there and everything else. Fire up the old Xbox, and we're all going to play Call of Duty. Next double XP weekend, you can promise, you could call it in, folks. Mag will be there. We're going to have a big community night party. We're going to do the whole 9 yards, and maybe I'll even live stream it if I'm in the mood, and we'll just do that for fun. And we'll do that with 4xp on the line, folks. But anyways, check out your 4xp. Go to 4xp.com, and even if you want to buy the product, you're still going to get a discount anyway with the code from what, Colteastwood?
XNC 2025 get you 20% off. Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks.
Shout out
go.
To our sponsor, Mag. You do a great job of you make me thirsty in more ways than one when you talk.
My goodness. Where are we going with all this?
Let's talk about Avowed. There's kind of a lot of stuff, and
Sure.
I'll keep in mind that most people can't officially play the game until late tonight or tomorrow morning. When
there will be no spoilers and no talk on the show. I'm just going to be talking to Colt, who has the most hours of anybody I know, and that's why we as an audience, and I mean myself and the audience, I'm going to channel their questions into my skull, and I'm going to spit them out of my mouth into the microphone, and I'm going to ask questions to Colteastwood and give his thoughts and opinions on what he thinks about it. Let's also not forget that Colteastwood is an Xbox shill, as we've seen in all the videos from the haters out there. So we need to hear exactly what he says, because we need to have him clipped at least 18 times tonight, folks.
Oh yeah,
for all those videos that start coming out tomorrow, mine included, starting tomorrow.
X-Vault's got his monocle. Okay.
Hey, you know about those videos, eh?
Oh yeah,
you know about those videos.
Yeah. I have a couple spies that keep me abreast of what's going on with the eucalyptus boy. But
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to find out if Pepperoni Nipples got anything to say about anything. It's I'll be speaking to him shortly.
Hey, Ono Talks is looking forward to playing Avowed. You know, he likes a good adventure game. It's an action adventure RPG, really. What do you want to ask me, Mag, or do you want me just kind of?
First of all, no. I got questions for you, and I'm sure that. Oh, by the way, chat. Before I forget, and before I get into any of this, first of all, I want to thank every single one of you. I got the second screen going here, and it is just blazing with people saying happy birthday. There is literally no chance in God's green earth I'd be able to answer every single one of you, but I'm just going to say just one time out here, I'm going to say thank you so much, everybody, for all the birthday wishes and all the well wishes. I absolutely love every single one of you, man, and I really do mean it. And like I said, every one of you that reaches out to me personally in DMs or whatever, or on the Xbox. I have people reaching me on Xbox, on PlayStation, wherever, on Twitter. And I answer every single one of you because I really do care. I'm not just saying that. I'm not talking out of my ass. I really mean it. I really do care about this community, and I care about everybody in it. And that's why I'm always out there. I'm always accessible. I'm always available to talk to anybody. So thank you for giving back to me what I give to you as well. And it's a mutual relationship, and I absolutely adore it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
That being said, let's get into Avowed.
Well, before we do that, I have to do my attorney says I have to say this. But for those of you who are showing your amazing support, we appreciate you, and I appreciate the super chats, and we'll get to those as we do, because you guys are amazing. Over here on the XNC podcast, I try not to run a total communist a block over here with Mag. So if you send any super chats, like saying happy birthday to Mag, I will be giving him that money, because I know it's weird to talk about money. I hate that, but you guys got to all give a thumbs up for Mag, who sits down here every Monday night and just delivers gaming talk, hangs out with all of us, and it's such a major part of the show. And so, of course, if anybody's super chatting and saying happy birthday to Mag, I'll be sending them over to him on PayPal. Like, hey, here's some Canadian dollar. What do you call your Canadian money over there? Toonies or loonies or
Monopoly money.
Monopoly money. But we appreciate you. So yes,
it's called booing the anthem at sporting events money. That's got to stop, folks. By the way, anybody from Canada, cut that crap out. Stop booing the American national anthem, man, and knock it off. Because when we end up being the 51st state, you're the first ones that are going to get arrested. So knock it off. I'm just kidding.
Shout out to Trailer Park Boys for being a part of us and everybody from Canada. Like Game Seeker in the chat is also one of our Canadian friends. A lot of you guys are amazing.
He is? I knew he was a scumbag.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So he's in the chat with a thumbs up. We appreciate you guys so much.
Is he now?
Yes, let's talk about
speaking of content.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to squeak in one last thing here. I just have to apologize about one thing before we get into the show. We were talking about content. I did not release any content last week at all. No live streams, no videos, no anything. I had COVID for pretty much the entire week. So I had it right. Now, last week on XNC, I was starting to not feel great. And I noticed that the last 30 minutes of the last XNC, I was just kind of talking. I mean, I always just talk nonsense, but I was talking extra nonsense because I was feeling delirious.
I didn't notice. You were starting to come down with it last week, like at the end of the show?
No, dude. In the middle of the show, I started feeling off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's something off. By Tuesday morning, my whole body felt like the Joker beat the crap out of me with a crowbar. I just felt awful. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I had no energy. I still had to go to deal with work stuff and go to work on most parts. And I came home and just died on the couch every single night. No, I played 40 minutes of video games the entire week. Didn't get to play Avowed. Didn't do anything. Didn't play any games at all. I was just laid out all the way until Saturday night. So, and even Saturday night, I was still off, but I mean, I was still on. So, because I had no choice because a birthday celebration started Saturday night. So I was out sick. So I didn't care. We had to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had to slap myself around. So anyways, I apologize for that. Content is restarting on the channel tomorrow because of illness. So the illness is now gone, and now the mag's back. Anyways.
After this, I'm going to go back and find out what crazy things you said while you were like under a stupor of when your immune system just like attacks you.
You know when you're just off and
I
was talking and I'm like, what did I just say? And like by the end of it, I was just like, my hands were like shaking and I'm like, I don't feel good. And then I was done, man.
Red Bull says, I'm just dying on your couch tonight.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Pretty much. I basically lay there like a sack of crap and I just watched Landman and just fell asleep listening to ASMR on my phone. I was a mess.
Shut up, Jesse Darby. Shut up. Just kidding.
What is
he goes, this show sucks. Why can't you guys be more entertaining like Frit and Alex Xbox Butter?
Xbox Butter. Yeah. You know, Pepperoni Nipples is live on Saturday night, so you can go watch him if you like.
I would love to have him on again. Every time he's on here, he makes me blush. He says so many things where I'm like...
Dude, you just remember that you're instantly demonetized the minute that Alex comes on the show. Right. So yeah, just be aware of that, folks. You're gonna get the F word, the C word, the G word, the N word, the this word, the R word. You're gonna get every single word. Yeah. You're gonna get exclamation marks, question marks. You're gonna get hashtags. You're gonna get everything in the first 30 seconds. So if you have any children, hide them immediately before that show starts. Anyways, Colteastwood, Avowed.
Yeah. Let's talk about PlayStation podcasters too. BT Maverick with $5 super chat says, Lost Soul Aside is PlayStation's first-party published game and day and date.
All right.
Commence the goalpost moving asterisks and shrinking piece of ice to stand on. Lost Soul Aside looks cool. It'll probably do really well, but yeah, we might talk about that a little bit. Thank you so much.
In a bit.
Yeah. Neighbor Box, thank you so much for the €2 super. Says, salute from Barcelona, guys. You're top.
Nice.
We appreciate you. Game Seeker with the Canadian 5. Let's go into Mag. Says, happy birthday, Mag. 5-alarm hangover incoming. Aren't you immune to that?
Joke's on you, Game Seeker. I've been drunk since Saturday. So there's no such thing as a hangover. Can't be hangover if you stop drinking. Anyways, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Colteastwood, Avowed. Yes. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
it. My first question to you is this.
All right.
I know you've got 70+ hours when you did the review. I know you've got more hours in now.
Yeah,
so you 100. Have more than any other reviewer out there. Certainly not like Randall Snore, who probably played 7 minutes and then made a review because that's because
he had 50 hours by the time he rolled credits.
I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I know he did. But anyways, all joking aside, I just have to take a shot of Rand because I haven't talked to him in so long. It's been so long. I missed the guy. How long did it take you to finish the story?
I mean, 70 hours, because I just organically explored most of the time and saved every main quest. They're separated in the menu. There's main at the top, and there's all your side quests and collectible things. And I kind of would just ignore those until I had to, or I didn't want to do a side quest. So yeah, it took me. Greg Miller finished it in 15 hours. Stupid. I mean, unless you hate a game, stupid. I like the guy. Somebody else finished it in like 25. I don't know. That game just felt good to marinate and do your thing and discover stuff and upgrade your gear. It was cool.
All right. Which is what an RPG is. Let's face it. You're not beelining an RPG. You need to explore. You need to do your side quests. You need to get your armor. Now, the thing is, did you find that like going through the game and upgrading your armor, finding stuff, opening chests, doing whatever it is, did you find it to be satisfying and like something that you wanted to do, or did you find it like in an organic way, or did you? Okay, so you're already answering yes. Or was at some points did it feel like a grind or a slog to like be able to say, oh crap?
There's something really cool about certain games. Like there's little touches that make games like they scratch an itch, and when you're like, I wonder if I should look up and over and under that if there's anything, and there is something. And then when you look at the gear, you're like, oh, cool, I need this, or I want to use this now, or I'm gonna need this to craft. You when you go up to a chest, you know how Kratos will like punch through it, and you just get that
which always makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's like that chewy good feeling, like let me get in there and have that ooey goodness, right? Avowed sort of does that. When you go to interact with the bigger chests, your character runs up and grabs it, pries it open, and then all the gear is available for you to look at. Like that never got old, like the whole time. And it has this really good feedback loop of finding cool gear that's tiered against the enemies, or finding a lot of stuff that you pick up off the ground or in chests that can be used to create or craft stuff to make your gear better, like as soon as you're ready. So that was really, really satisfying. Somebody else, Tim Richards in the chat says, I think it was Tim, says, is the third person at least decent? It looks a little choppy. Sometimes I played it for like 10 hours straight in third person. And then I would go back to first. I'm like, oh my gosh, seeing your sword and your spell sign, like filling the whole screen and throwing out is so amazing. But seeing your character is really good too. My only gripe would be changing to third. You should bring the FOV down so your character's closer. But they're both great. Yeah. And I think it really is for people with that option. You're like, yes, I like first or third, or I like both, or like I like this one all the time. Now I'm going to switch this one and I like that all the time now. Right. So yeah, that stuff's good. Yeah.
All right, cool.
By the way, hold on. Of course, no spoilers. The game is an 81. It's an 82 on OpenCritic, which is not weighted like Metacritic. Metacritic takes all the reviews from industry approved people that can submit reviews, and then it sets an extra weight on points of bigger outlets. So like IGN has a very heavy weight score. So when they give it a 7, it brings down the score more than other people would that give it a 7 or an 8. So OpenCritic just takes the scores as is, tallies them together, and gives you an aggregate. So OpenCritic also combines PC and Xbox, which are pretty much the same game. So yeah, this game is not 6 out of 10 slot. We're going to get into that as well, about the nonsense. So
that's another question I want to ask you. Now I'm always very open to everybody else's opinion, how I feel about a game, whatever else. And like, I've had people come to me and like, we'll talk. I'm going to briefly talk about the Days Gone thing later on, because I still feel like Days Gone was one of my top 5 games of last gen, even though it originally came out at like a 70 Metacritic or something. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I still love it. And the funny thing is, I'm going to go back and play that remaster and platinum it again because I love that game so much. And the story. And the thing is, a lot of it was on a technical aspect that it got such bad scores because it had a lot of bugs and a lot of technical issues and performance issues. Now, my question is, in regards to Avowed, it got lower scores based on what was, I like to quote as poor storytelling, bad character development, unresponsive NPCs, and a very small amount of performance issues. Now, my question to you, now I'm saying these are the negatives that I've read about as going through all the aggregate. While I was sick last week, instead of making a video about Avowed, which I just sat there and read everybody else's reviews because I was lying on the couch like Nosferatu for like 4 days. So anyways, the point is that do you feel that any of those criticisms were valid? Like even as far as like Alana Pierce, Skill Up, even like the big guns out there were talking about that, saying the same thing. Like Skill Up was actually pretty open about, like, he really did not like the game actually, and Alana Pierce was on a podcast with him where they talked about the same thing. They said why we didn't like Avowed and whatever. I watched that video because I wanted to see the other side of the fence, right?
Yeah.
Do you find that any of those criticisms are valid in any which way? I'm not talking about as extreme as like a 6 out of 10, but do you feel there was any weakness in those things?
Yeah, I mean, there were quite a few things that kept the game from becoming a 9 or a 10 for me, and one of them was production value. Your character doesn't speak, like in Starfield. Your character, your cutscenes are all like basically devalued down to a still lightly animated camera angle or motion illustrations, which I think is really crummy for a AAA studio. Obsidian is AAA, I learned this week. So I wish they would have done that, like real-time cutscenes with the models in the world you've already built, like animate those and make stuff would have really helped. But as far as some of the stuff you addressed a minute ago, like, can you create your own amazing experience on the fly organically like you can in Skyrim or Fallout 3? No, it doesn't have all that. It's so much more like Outer Worlds, where it has the RPG mechanics, the great combat, the world to explore in, the level and perks and stuff like that. But you know, you can create these crazy scenarios in a game like Skyrim, but this isn't like that. And they told us many times not to expect it to be like Skyrim. It's in semi-open world or biome or zone related RPG. Some of the other gripes that people had, like where you can't interact or kill NPCs. Someone pointed out, the Turk pointed out today, like you can't attack NPCs in Final Fantasy games. Like you go into town, you can't even unsheath your weapon. You can't pickpocket. Like you can't. Well, there's no lockpicking mechanic. You just hold a button. Like those are little things. Like, oh yeah. When I was playing the game, I was like, I would have liked them to rip off the Skyrim thing to unlock stuff, but you just hold a button. Mini games do that as well. But then there's like half as many people who can't stand mini games like lockpick mechanics or cracking stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Am I covering that okay?
See that argument. Yeah, you did. Thank you. I did see a lot of that nonsense online of people fighting from back and forth from both sides there, and just going back and forth. Like I saw some people say, "Well, this game sucks because you can't do this and that with NPCs," and then other people were coming back and they're like, "Oh, well, you know what? Well, then Horizon Forbidden West sucks because you can't because you can't grab the crotch of this NPC and they just stand there." And I'm like, what is happening here?
It's like Fruitgate all over again, Mag. It's Fruitgate. You can't shoot the fruit. The fruit don't react, or the grass doesn't react when you walk into it, and things like that. And I think the grass doesn't move when you walk in Avowed. You have to think about what kind of things does a game need. What?
The grass doesn't move in Avowed? The game is automatically a 3 out of 10, folks.
Right.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 3 out of 10. The game is over. No grass movement. We are back to the grass controversy from 2013 with Grand Theft Auto 5 and the grass situation.
To be fair, like studios should be aware of interactivity with the world's objects, that people like. It's not a necessity, but it is something that they're like, oh, that's a nice touch, right? So I don't totally discount that when people are like, the grass doesn't move. I'm like, yeah, they should have done that. Like, what would that have taken? I don't know. But this game is an action adventure RPG. The zones you are in are 800 meters wide. Does that mean anything to you guys when I say that? Like if you're on one corner and you want to go to the other corner, it's probably about 800 meters to walk there. So maybe it takes you 5 or 10 minutes to get all the way to the end. But there's so much tiered verticality up and over and under and through and busting through and cracking around to get around. And the world's really densely packed. And it's just, I don't know, the combat for people who are ready to play the game starting tomorrow when you get home from work, whatever, the combat is freaking awesome. It's not like Kingdom Come Deliverance. There's not a learning tier or learning a curve where you have to like, it's not as creative when it comes to how you approach melee like Dead Island 1 was with the swinging system, but it's got so much variety: heavy weapons, light weapons, ranged weapons, short range weapons, magic, area of effect, drop down, shoot out, chain out, all this cool stuff, and then this combination of a wand, like the Harry. Remember, you guys loved Hogwarts Legacy. You're doing that in first and third person, whack, 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 and then you're throwing out spells, and you can make your character not even use the Grimoire book in your hand. You can set them up so that they have things on the fly where you can throw out magic, even if you're holding a sword and a shield. You're like, I'm going to throw out a fireball. Boom. That stuff's so fun, and to see people go, this combat looks mid. Right. This combat looks wooden. This combat looks dated. It's like, I'm so sick and tired of the tourists who just sit on their phone and goes, meh, meh. But if I hand them the controller, they'd be like, okay, it's pretty fun.
All right. Now I have one last question. No, two last questions. Two more questions for you. Then we're going to move on from this.
All right.
The other question is this: the side quest, because everybody knows that in RPGs, side quests are very important.
Yeah.
It's an integral part of the story. It's not. Now the thing is, were the side quests? Did you find the side quests meaningful, or were they just busy work? Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Yeah. Right now, I'm playing Final Fantasy 16. I know it's coming to Xbox. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, I have to clarify something. I had a contact from somewhere call me and remind me that I actually made a mistake. He sent to me about I had accidentally said that Xbox is going to have an announcement on March 3rd about Final Fantasy 16 and then the other Final Fantasy 16 games. Or sorry, the Final Fantasy games, 7 Rebirth and Remake. I misread his text. It's not March 3rd. It's March 3rd. And then on the next line of the text, it said party reveals about Final Fantasy. So he goes, no, dude, it's not March 3rd. It's March 3rd party reveals. So it's not on that date. So I had messed up and said, I think I even said in my video, I said March 3rd. I said, that's the rumor out there. And he says, no, it's not March 3rd. He goes, you misread the text. It's March 3rd party reveals on the Xbox for, but the way it said, it said
even all this time, I thought you meant March 3rd. There's going to be a party where it gets revealed.
That's why I misread the damn the text.
Oh, it's great.
Because it said 3rd, and then the next line said party. Right, so I'm like, oh, okay. On March 3rd, Xbox is going to be announcing Final Fantasy 16, and then talk about the other two that are coming either later this year or in 2026. And now he goes, no, dude, you got it wrong. He goes, it's actually March 3rd party. He goes, so it's sometime in March they're going to announce that third-party partnership with Square. So sorry, my apologies on that. Anyway, The reason why I brought up Final Fantasy, so excuse me for that misread. That someone from Xbox had got a hold of me and corrected me. Anyways. The reason why I bring up Final Fantasy 16 is obviously there are a ton of side quests. There are about 70, I think 75, 76 side quests. And so far, I've got to say most of the ones I've done have been just busy work and actually quite a waste of time. Like, they're like, you go to the pub and the dude behind the bar is like, well, there's 3 warriors over there who ordered donuts and soup, and we don't have any. We have soup, but we don't have donuts.
Soup keeps pouring through the hole in the donut, and
I need you to go to
substance.
It's like, we need you to go to the something region, and there's 3 donuts being guarded by capybaras or whatever the frig they're called, and then or chocobos or whatever those big stupid the big stupid chickens. Yeah, it's like they're being guarded by that. Can you kill all of them and take the donuts and bring it back? And I'm like, what does this got to do with the amazing story?
Right.
Why I'm bringing this up?
There was a couple. Yeah, there was a couple of those in Avowed, but there was a ton of side quests that I did organically. Like I knew it was like, go over there to do the main quest, and so I'd go over there, and I would run into some really cool stuff, and then it was apparent that that's a side quest. Then when I get back to town, I'm like, oh, Avowed does this. Like, oh, by the way, is this what you're talking about? I have that. So it's all like retroactively happens on the fly. I killed these big bosses out in the world, and then I come back, and this guy's like, I'm the keeper of the bounty board. And I'm like, oh, by the way, I've got 2 of those to turn in. I didn't even know the thing existed, but here's a severed head, and here's another severed head. So that stuff's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right.
The side quest stuff's cool.
Okay. The reason why, like, I would imagine it's not unlike the level of like side quest that you would get from, like, let's say A Witcher 3, where you're on like You're like on an hour and a half side quest of like epic proportion where like all of a sudden it's like the death of the king and the daughter and the this, and you're like, holy crap, this is like the main story. And you forget that you're actually doing a side quest.
Avowed is really a streamlined game. And somebody asked, without spoiling anything, how long should it take you to beat the game? Obsidian says it takes you about 35 hours. You know, Rand and I couldn't do it under 50 or at all because we wanted to find everything and we wanted to go into dungeons and stuff. And most everything you do, like you go into underground temple in the first level and you could be in there maybe an hour or two and that's it. But that's kind of like a couple quests built into it. So it's really a streamlined, like bite-sized mini RPG. It's like people compare it to Skyrim. It's more like Oblivion or like Morrowind, where you just have this epic RPG contained in this lunchbox sized thing. And I loved it all the way to the end. And you do everything in this one area and it's like, we're going to go to this next biome and that's like totally different looking, and day night cycle is dynamic and all that stuff. But I want to talk about some of the some of the controversy that's going on with Avowed, and you touched on a lot of it, like broken and buggy. And I saw Sniper 7K, whatever his name is, in the chat said there's too many bugs for him. I don't know if you played the game, but I played 70 hours on PC. I played about 10 hours on Xbox. I had 2 bugs my entire playthrough where the enemy, I was supposed to pick up something off of him to complete a quest. And the item, like, you know, Borderlands, when there's like a colored light coming out of the ground, tells you there's loot there to go pick up. It was there and I couldn't interact because the item was just below the ground. I couldn't grab it. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I reloaded a save, killed the guy again and grabbed it and moved on with my life. That happened to me twice in 70 plus hours. And then I had one time, I don't know if it was me. It's funny because I was playing part of the game in party chat with Rand and we were helping each other discover stuff. He was on Xbox and I was on PC. I think I had a crash to dashboard or to desktop, but I'm not sure. I couldn't quite remember. And Rand goes, I had one crash on console and that was it. I'm like, I honestly, I don't remember if I had the crash or he did. But between the both of us with over 150 hours, there was one crash reported from us. I was on Xbox PC. Apparently, the Steam version of PC had a lot of problems because Luke Stevens of YouTube and I think maybe SkillUp complained about tons of bugs, tons of crashes. I didn't have any of that. And sometimes that happens. The other controversy is, I'll make this quick. Some of the other controversy is 4 years ago when Matt Hansen said, you know, we need to hire more than just crusty old white dudes. A lot of people are saying, I'm not playing a game with someone who hates me. I don't like what Matt Hansen said, and I think that he should have been fired or he should have been taken off project publicly for saying that, because he put his studio, that project, and everybody associated with Avowed in danger of losing sales or of the game failing. So, I also believe that what Matt Hansen said was, we need to hire more diverse people, and I said it a really dumb way, is what Matt Hansen said. A really, really stupid, insensitive, slightly just not a good way to say things. But when Matt Hansen says we need more than just crusty old white dudes, he's not saying I don't like people of Caucasian skin like himself and like you and I, or white skin. Stupid thing to say. And I said this in my last weekly video. If you're a developer, just shut up and make a great game. And Avowed is a really great game. It's getting overwhelming 8s and 9s. Don't let anybody tell you it's a 6 or it's a 5 out of 10 best. It's a 6 out of 10 at best. And I wanted to ask you, Mag, can you effing imagine if somebody walked up to you at the restaurant while you're eating? Let's say I ordered this kind of a strange meal with my wife on Saturday for our Valentine's Day. I got ribeye strips. It was like 4 pieces of a ribeye cut and put on like a rice with some green beans.
Yep,
okay,
sounds dynamite. Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty good, right? Now, like, imagine somebody comes up and is like, who would order strips of a steak? What a loser. Because this is what people were doing to people like me or anyone else that enjoyed the game. Like, barring the whole, oh, you're a shill, you're a paid shill, this is an ad. Like, that is the most brain dead crap I've ever heard. Like, oh, or the people saying, I don't trust anyone who gets their game for free. It's like, guess what, genius? Everyone who reviews a game early, every one of them, even the one that gave it a 4 out of 10, got it for free, you stupid melt. All right? So imagine somebody coming up to you in a restaurant and going, What are you having over there? Oh, I'm having the moons over my hammy. It's toast with cheese and scrambled eggs. I love it. It's crap. It's mid. And then pushing your plate away from you. And that's literally what this community has come to, because I've tried so hard in my life. Well, I just don't do this, Mag. I don't walk up to people who are saying they're enjoying Final Fantasy 16 and say, that's mid. I'd never play that, bro. That's mid. Why would you play that? That game's trash. That game's got nothing but cutscenes. You know, there's 14 hours of cutscenes in that. Why would you play that? Why are you are such a loser. You're patient. You're just a shill for Square Enix, you know, or is that who it is? Yeah, that's the crap that has been going on. And I'm not saying that just to protect Avowed or a game that I like Avowed. It is absolute nonsense that I go into every thread all weekend. I was called the F word that means I'm gay. I was called a paid shill. I was called a liar. People said that I said that Redfall was game of the year. People said that I'm bought and paid for. They said that I'm woke. And let me tell you, if you're looking forward to playing Avowed, there is absolutely nothing woke in this game that Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't already do. The only thing woke I could find in it was when you make a male character, it says he. If you make a female character, you have two types. You can make a male, or you can make a human or an elf. And I'm sorry if this discussion gets really super annoying. I'm trying to keep it slightly entertaining. When you make a character, you get a choice between a human or an elf with ears, male or female. And if you choose one of those four, your default will either be she or he, depending on the body type that you choose. If you want to choose them, you have to click over to them. So it's not even default. And I think that's something that Obsidian course corrected from the preview, if my memory serves me, that it was defaulted to them and they fixed that in the preview. So hats off to them for doing that. Also, there is an on and off toggle in the menu when you create your character so that your pronouns are not even referred to. You could turn that off completely. So if you choose they, you can choose for them not to call you they. I don't know how that works, but absolutely ridiculous that people are like, I'm not going to play this woke slop. Anybody who plays it is part of the woke mind virus. Guess what? You were wrong about Indiana Jones. You're wrong about Kingdom Come Deliverance. You're wrong about Avowed, and you're going to be wrong about so many games. Now, there were some that were problems, like Dragon Age Veilguard had massive problems, and I stopped playing it. I got sick of that crap. But Avowed is just a great action adventure RPG, and that's all I got to say about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Now, it's all good. So if I were to play as a chocobo, I don't have to use pronouns. I'm just a giant chicken. Is that what's that?
I mean,
is that
Meg,
what I'm saying?
come on.
I'm
I know,
just
Meg.
kidding.
No, I know,
yeah,
Meg.
yeah.
I just want to say, if somebody like Joe, let's say somebody named Joe, and they're playing the game, and there's like, I identify as I really identify as a they them, and they play a game like Avowed, and they choose they choose them in their pronouns. How the fudge are you ever going to know about it? Why do you even care? And people are like, I need to get this stuff out of video games. It's like, and I do understand that people don't like to see stuff that they don't like, and that they think there's things that shouldn't be in games. But let people be. Just worry about yourself, please. And thankfully, actually, Avowed didn't.
Right.
There was no forced agenda. There was nothing
that's
like
the funny
that.
thing. I didn't see any like a lot of the channels that a lot of channels out there that really focus on the woke stuff and this and that. And I don't mean the woke stuff. I mean like the anti-woke channels and stuff. I actually didn't see anybody talking about Avowed at all. It didn't even come up in conversation. Now, there's also could be because Captain America 4 came out, so the focus over the last 4 days has been whatever you want to call that movie.
By the way, that Love Hurts movie with Data, you know which one I'm talking about? The guy who played Data in Goonies and Short Round.
You mean, that guy? Oh, Love Hurts. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I went and saw that on Saturday, and it's like a 5 out of 10. We thought it was great. I enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't like the best thing ever, but it was well worth my time. But maybe I like crappy things, but it was pretty good. Anyway,
dude, I thought you meant like Data from like Star Trek, and I'm like Brent Spiner. There's like, there's an action love movie. There's an action romance movie about Brent Spiner. I mean, the guy's like 70. Like, what are you talking about? But you're talking about Quan.
Yes, thank you.
The actor,
yes. Yeah, he was really cool in it, and
short round.
didn't have the most amazing story, but whatever. We had a good time.
By the way, don't ever bring up Data from Goonies first. He's Short Round from Temple of Doom first, before anything else.
Was he? Because I knew him from Goonies first. Which movie came out first?
No. Both movies came out the same year.
Which one was first, though, Mister? I know everything about movies. I don't know. You'd have to know.
Well, they both came out. They both came out in the summer of '84. So
he's Short Round to you, but he's dated to me, huh?
Yeah, but he's more famous as. I mean, Goonies is an instant classic, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean,
is he more famous as Short Round in your eyes?
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah. Okay, I haven't really thought of it that way, but
yeah, because Indiana Jones in the '80s and early '90s was an icon, right?
Oh yeah.
Goonies was an amazing movie, but it was more of like it actually had a smaller cult following than it did. Like, it was a big movie, but it was a Spielberg produced movie, by the way, folks. It was not directed by him. Everybody gets that wrong. It was actually directed, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, I gotta say it was Joe Dante. Oh no, Richard Donner.
Richard Donner, yeah.
It was.
But Spielberg had he helped direct it or produce it or something.
Yeah. No, he produced it and he helped with it. Dick Donner, as they called him in those days. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. He just died actually a few years ago. So he was a big loss, because actually another fun fact is that Dick Donner was actually he actually wrote Lethal Weapon 5, and he actually was set to direct Lethal Weapon 5, and he died, obviously, and so his family has actually reached out to Mel Gibson and said, Mel, he was one of your best friends. You need to do this for Richard as a thank you for all the years. So Mel Gibson just announced a little while ago, he says, I'm going to be directing Lethal Weapon 5.
Oh, that's cool.
And him and Danny Glover are set to return one final time for a final film. And it's going to be a send-off film. So that's pretty cool little side story, folks. I just thought I'd throw that in there. But anyways, back to gaming.
Sotness in the chat says Joe Dante was Gremlins in the Burbs, and I know that.
Yeah, I know. I mixed
and
it
I know
up.
You know that too, right? But when he said that, I'm like, he said the Burbs is the GOAT. The Burbs is one of my Burbs is one of my favorite movies from that era.
I have a neighbor that I'm 100% convinced is one of the Klopeks. Like, he literally goes to work. He gets out of his car, he goes in the house, and then you don't see him for 3 days. He doesn't come outside. He doesn't mow his lawn. He has a company come and mow his lawn. And this guy's not even old. He's like in his 40s. And he just, I guarantee, I just think he's got people chained in his basement. I got to find out.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen somebody drive their garbage out to the front street and beat it to death with a rake. I've never seen that before.
Dude, that movie is one of the most incredible movies ever made. The Burbs. If you haven't seen it, folks,
and it'll hold up. It'll hold up. 1989 or something.
It's actually a little bit spooky in a way. Like, the way they did it, it's supposed to be a comedy, but it's a comedy, but a little bit spooky. I love that movie.
It's a comedy that draws from the greats, the horror greats of its time, or before its time. Yes. And Tom Hanks is incredible in that movie. But
oh man, Tom Hanks before he got all serious.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks in the 80s before he got all serious, and then he started doing Philadelphia, and he's amazing in those movies too.
Yeah.
And like Saving Private Ryan and Apollo 13, and all of a sudden he became Oscar bait. But I mean, he's an incredible actor. But I mean, my God, the 80s movies, Bachelor Party, The Burbs,
Big,
the Money Pit, Big.
Money Pit was horrible. I remember watching that as a kid.
Dude,
I don't know, maybe it was
legend,
good.
Man. He was a comedy legend. He
is. And then he did Toy Story. He was voicing. Yeah, and when I was in high school,
now he's coming back. Now he's coming back for Toy Story 5. Yeah, Toy Story 5 is already well into production. So, we'll see what happens there. But
let me read a couple supers. They're kind of backing up here.
Go ahead.
Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat says Avowed already relatively good out of the box in UE VR for VR play. He's playing it in a VR headset. A lot of people said that Avowed looks like it would make great if it was actually fully implemented in VR.
I would love to play VR. Now, the thing is, it is coming. Now, there is no integration on the Xbox ecosystem. PC, obviously, yes. However, if you want to boost a little bit here and there, if you get a little bit of extra production time or whatever else, how about making a port for the PSVR 2 when it comes out to PlayStation?
Yeah.
And then, of course, for whatever headsets are supported by PC. So if you can get it on whatever supports, whatever headset supports on PC and on PSVR 2, that would be dope, man.
Yeah,
I would love that all day long. Give me an immersive RPG that I can play on VR, and I won't take the damn thing off. I won't even live in the real world anymore. It'll be like Ready Player One. Carry on.
Right. Yeah, you just be stinking up your own same pair of underwear for 3 weeks, which usually happens anyway. Andy Hart says with the £2 super, happy birthday, Mag. Morning, gentlemen. And it's very early in the morning over there in the UK, if that's where you're from. Meat Puppet waves. We got that blue number with a $5 super, says happy mega birthday, Mag. Make sure you fully roast brisket on your birthday. It's like blowing out the birthday candles.
Yeah. Never mind. I'm not going to say never mind. I'm not going to go down the no, it's Alex route because I had a joke lined up for that blowing out. Never mind. Carry on, Colteastwood.
Oh my gosh. Andy Hart, thank you so much for the £5 super. Says, if it's not a spoiler, how long would you say Avowed is? Oh, that was right in the super. Yeah, like 35 hours. 40 something, I think, for most people. But
all right.
I think that a lot of you are going to be like, I just kind of want to just keep looking around and finding stuff. Another really great thing about Avowed, and I cover this in my preview as well, is when you kill enemies, they don't respawn. So the world, you're there to remove the Dream Scourge, and the Dream Scourge is like a mushroom plague that makes people crazy and gives it. It's sort of like a family-friendly version of The Last of Us. What do they call that? Oh my gosh, I just blanked on it. The cordyceps.
Oh my god,
cordyceps thing. So yeah, it's like overgrown stuff, and then it starts to grow on people's face, and they kind of lose their mind. So yeah, when you kill enemies, like, and you open a chest, like I hated that in Dragon Age Veilguard. You open a chest, I would go back, fast travel back to that area again. That chest is there again. Open it up and grab the gear. It just feels so hollow. But when you're actually clearing and cleaning out the world, it feels great. 4XP, our great sponsor, sends a $20 super chat, says, happy birthday, Mag. Let's give Mag a handful more $20 super chats so we can make him a Canadian millionaire by the end of the night.
All right. Thank you for the support, 4XP. And speaking of support, go to 4xp.com, ladies and gentlemen. I got the hat on tonight, 4xp.com. And listen, I actually even wear the 4xp hat in some of my videos that I do for my channel.
You do?
And it's funny because actually he reached out to me. He's like, nice hat. And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, it's on the rack. I've got a rack of hats that I wear for my shows because if I have the bald head during the shows, the lighting, my head lights up like a beacon, like the Luxor Hotel in Casino in Las Vegas.
Like the Vegas sphere.
Yeah, it's like this beam of light from my skull. It's ridiculous. Can't happen. Anyways,
I'm waiting for the rest of my hair to fall off so I can do that. Andy Hart says, any Skyrim feelings with Avowed? Kind of. It's like Skyrim Light. And I don't know. Sometimes that's a good thing. You know, a good cultivated, I don't know. I don't want to say it's not bite size. I put 70 hours into it. It's just very manageable. I feel like I explain it this way as I stammer like crazy. Sometimes when you go out and play games, you kind of move towards a quest, but I like to kind of go out. I like to go out and around and branch out and then kind of curve my way back into the main quest when I want to do something bigger, and then I kind of branch out and I just kind of play games like this if I'm using my hands. And I think that Avowed does that fantastically. Paraf, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says, happy birthday, guys. Turning 80 is a big deal. Har, har, har.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Our friend Sith Lord says, member chat says, happy birthday, Mag. William Bryan wins the Daytona 500 back-to-back, the only fifth driver to do so. Hi, Colt. How are you and the kids? We are great. They've had 2 days off in a row of school. I'm waiting for them to go back because I'm sick of looking at them. I love them, though. But, yeah, Sith goes, oh, can't wait for you and Mag to talk about the Daytona 500. I'm like, I never use them. So, yeah, that's my Rocky 2 reference. Do you remember that? Hey, Rock, you ever think about investing in condominiums?
Yep.
I never use them.
Yep.
Andy Hart's on fire. Another one, £5 super chat. Mag, any truth to the rumors about a Days Gone 2?
Yes, I do know something that's going on. This is not just there's something I want to clear the air about because I know a lot of people, there's a lot of, whenever PlayStation or anybody else releases a remaster or a remake or a whatever, particularly PlayStation, let's just say they're the most egregious at it. They're doing it for two reasons. It's not to exploit the people that have already played these damn games. Sure, some of them will go and pay the $10 upgrade, like this guy here, because I'm going to go platinum Days Gone again because I want to see if there's what they did to it. Just even if it's a small tweak on the Pro or whatever, fine. Like I said, it was in my top 5 best games of last generation. My top 5 games of last generation were Rise: Son of Rome for Xbox.
Crazy.
Dude, it was my top 5 without question.
Yeah, they're 6s or 7s. It's crazy that when people are like, if it's below an 8, it's trash. Anyway,
Days Gone,
Rise: Son of Rome
for PlayStation. Right, yeah, Rise: Son of Rome, Days Gone, Resident Evil 7. What the hell is it called?
I don't know.
The
Recore?
zombie one, the first person, yeah, right, Recore. The first person zombie game, Dying Light, excuse me.
Oh, Dying Light. You're talking about
Light-
last generation
yeah.
only. Okay, yeah, dude,
Last
same,
generation only.
same.
So like I said, so I got a couple from there. Yeah, so it was Rise Son of Rome, Dying Light, Resident Evil 7, Days Gone, and Last of Us 2. Those are my 5 games for last generation. And then honorable mention to Ghost of Tsushima. And then, but yeah, that was a great game. But anyways, those are my 5. But yes, Days Gone was in my top 5. And isn't it funny that 2 out of my 5 were rated on 70 and below?
And 4 out of 5 are zombie games.
Yeah, that kind of happened too. But I mean, they're fantastic games. But isn't it funny that one from Xbox, one from PlayStation were both rated like 70 and below, were Days Gone and Rise Son of Rome. And I absolutely adored both of those games.
Yeah,
and it's funny how that worked out.
Yeah, and I would recommend to people, if you look at a review or you see numbers or you watch gameplay of something, you're like, oh man, that looks like my jam. And if it's like a 7 or above, you should probably get it.
Yeah.
I think you should probably get it.
Well, the thing is, I mean, it was on sale, so I bought it. But anyways, to answer your question, my apology. I never answered the damn question. What's happening
about
is
Days Gone
this,
2.
is that,
okay.
yeah, they're releasing a lot of these remasters and remakes or whatever. It's not for me. It's not for you. It's for a whole new generation of people that didn't play these games, because some of these games came out almost 10 years ago now, right? And some of them even longer. Like Last of Us 1 came out in on the PS3, for example, right? They're re-releasing these games and charging $50 for them because there's a whole generation of people out there who don't even know what they are. And you know how I know this? I mean, first of all, I've spoken to people that work there, and they've said, yeah, this is their focus. This is what they're doing. They charge $50 for it. And for the people who've already played it, if you feel like it, you could do it for $10. $10, not a huge investment. It's literally half the price of a skin you'd pay for on Call of Duty. Now, the thing is, I'm not defending it. I'm just telling you what I've been told. The thing is, I look at someone like my son and his generation, and all of a sudden, like, I hear my son and his friends online. They're like, hey, did you hear about this game Days Gone or whatever? And they're like, oh, no, I never heard of it, this and that. And they never heard of these games. They don't even know what Last of Us is. They don't know what Ghost of Tsushima is. They don't know what Uncharted is because they were never exposed to it. They were too young when they came out, if not even born yet. And so they're re-releasing these games, and now these kids are discovering them, and they're going and they're like, whoa, what is this? And now I see my son and his friends farting around online playing some of these games that we played 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, sometimes even as long as 15 years ago with like Last of Us 1, and they're rediscovering them. Yeah. And as a result, Sony will and don't get it twisted. Sony will squeeze so hard that you'll be crapping pennies out of your butt. And then, the thing is because, you know what I mean? And what they're going to do, they're going to charge you $50 for it. For a game that all they had to do was just do a little bit of tweaks here and there, and they'll charge someone $50. So Sony, being Sony, they're going to make their $50, right? But people will buy it. People will buy it, especially if it's new to them. And that's how these things work. And that I don't know. That's just the way I see it. I know that, like, on the Xbox side of things, they don't do that as much. Whereas Phil, I know, is more interested in game preservation. I know that that's a big thing for Phil and the legacy of gaming, right? Because at the end of the day, Phil is still a gamer. And so as a result of that, they don't do a whole lot of remasters and remakes and stuff like that. They actually preserve the games as it is, and you'll be able to, play in there. They might do frame boosts. Frame rate boosts and things like that, and maybe upscale things to 4K or whatever else. And they do that free of charge, and then they pop them in Game Pass if you have Game Pass and that kind of thing, which is very cool. They did it with the Master Chief Collection. They did it with a bunch of Gears. Some of the Gears games we're going to be getting now. Don't get twisted. We get that Gears collection coming out. I'm not 100% sure that Gears collection is going to come to play to Game Pass. It may not. We don't know.
I think it would.
You think so? Okay, well, then fair. Then it'll come there, and so it's great. But everybody else going to probably have to pay $50 for that, right? Which is it's fair.
I want to talk about that here in just a minute, about having your cake and eating it too, because there are big changes in the industry.
Right. Now, the point of that question, last thing I was going to say, is that they're also testing the waters for a Days Gone 2, because Bend just wasted 3 of their years on a live service game, wasted their effing time trying to work on a live service game that never came out and ended up getting canceled. So now the word is that they're also re-releasing this game to get some money back pumped into the studio of money they lost from labor for the last couple of years, and trying to reinvigorate financially the studio. And by doing so, if there's enough interest, then they will work on a Days Gone 2, which they already have laid out.
Yeah, and remember, Andy, that
laid out.
Thank you for the question, Andy, and Mag's been talking on so much, like I'm almost lost half the time, but there's so much to talk about, like when it comes to such a small question sometimes, right? Yeah. There's so much going on, and Ben Studios was told outright no Days Gone 2. So when Mag's talking about this, maybe their live service game was related to the Days Gone franchise, and I think Mag's right. Doing a remaster is priming the pump to possibly get that Days Gone 2 revitalized and see if it can be a reality. Detective Seeds gives a $10 super, says, happy birthday, Mag. This should cover your next Viagra script.
That was Detective Seeds?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah.
You scumbag? Yeah, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. By the way, if anybody wants a reference as to what I was talking about, I'll give you a Hollywood reference. George Lucas went back in the early 90s and he started doing remasters of the original Star Wars trilogy, and then he re-released them in the movie theaters with like some extra special effects, whatever, charged full price. And you went to the theater, and you know what he did with that money? He took all the profits of that money and he made episode 1, 2, and 3, and they self-funded. He self-funded the new trilogy with the money he made from the Star Wars trilogy remastered edition that he released in the theater, or special edition.
Unfortunately, that's how the entertainment and the games industry works. Like I was listening to Phil talk to Xbox Era, which we're going to cover a little bit later in the show, and I can see through the smoke screen that Phil's trying not to act like they look at us as like little pawns on the field, and they're creating. It's like when you make a movie like this, I don't want to go on a tangent too much, but when I did a tour of Universal Studios with Dante and That Blue Number and my wife and I had a really good understanding that these studios they just built this location so they could bring in people who make movies that make a lot of money so that they can make a lot of money, and they're making a movie so they can turn an investment so they can sell tickets. And like, there's only so much art left in the equation. The rest is all like, this is a great money-making opportunity. And I see that sometimes with Phil's talking. Like, they look at us like, we've got Game Pass, we've got console, we've got PC, we've got cloud, we've got games. You want to make a game that sells to people so that we can make money and you can enjoy what you spent your money on. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Pop and Fresh, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. It's blazing in hot pink. Looks great. They said, hi. So it looks great. Hi, Eastwood and Mag, new subscriber. As a video game vinyl collector, what is your top 5 Xbox game soundtracks? I can at least give you 2, and I'll have Mag and I answer that. I'm planning to buy vinyl soundtracks of Skyrim, Starfield, South of Midnight. I just bought a Series X, Avowed, Starfield, and The Great Circle, and they've got the Devil's Horns. Love that. Probably my favorite. I'll give you 3. Because if we did 5, we'd be here all day. And I'll do this quickly. Mass Effect 1, unbelievable. Skyrim, Jeremy Soule, incredible. And Halo 3 ODST, beautiful. What are yours, Mag?
All right. I would say Halo 3. I would say L.A. Noire from Rockstar. L.A. Noire is one of the greatest soundtracks I've ever listened to, man. I almost bought it on vinyl because it's just that good. And then, of course, I know it's not a soundtrack of an original score, but it's still a soundtrack, and it's still the greatest ever made, is Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh, yeah. All the radios combined, bro.
I'm just saying, I know it's not a soundtrack written by a composer, I understand, but it's still, if you're going to go by the terminology soundtrack, I still got to say Grand Theft Auto Vice City, number 1. Number 2 is Rockstar's L.A. Noire. Number 3, of course, I would say Halo 3. Just breathtaking music, man. Honorable mention to Ezio's theme from Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yes. The Assassin's Creed 2 theme is soundtrack's amazing. I bought it on iTunes back in the day. It's that good. It's just so
man.
And that was Jesper Kidd, if I'm saying his name right. He also did Borderlands 2. Yes, we know music when it comes to.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy also has fantastic music in it as well. They got some great music in those games. Pretty incredible stuff, man. It's just, but all over. It's great stuff. Great stuff.
I got to read this super from Boner Jams, and hopefully he's still here because I missed him last week. I almost never miss a super chat, and I was so mad that like he's been a long time supporter of the show. Last week he said, "Evening, boys and girls. God, King, descendants of Brigham Young, B Jams here. When will Colt come to grips that PlayStation owns the Xbox? Love you, boys."
Nice.
He throws in so much stuff into one super chat. It's like it honestly hurts my pants. But this week he says, wanted to thank Magnum PI for the tube of expired Valtrex to help in my time of need. Bless you, my friend. What's good, Colt? XOXO. They actually asked us to jump on their show on Wednesday, but you were sick. So
I was
next
sick
time
all
I'll
week,
hit you
man.
up. Grandpa Barbecue's Game Cat, thank you for the Australian $2 super chat. Says, yes, Colt, rant like a top rope. Slam takeout. Yeah, people were really supportive, Mag, of my rant on my weekly news video, and I'll link it to you, later this week because it's like 3 minutes long, but you already heard it today. It was like kind of a new version. Risk it for the biscuit. Thank you for chatting in. Says, happy 90th birthday. Make it look like you're not a day over 95. Great show as always, Colt. Don't know how you do it with Mag dragging you down every week. What a piece of shiz.
When he was missing last week, I was thoroughly convinced that he was eaten by a kangaroo and I wouldn't have to deal with him ever again. Or in the very least, he was beaten to a pulp and then the kangaroo picked up his limp he's got many areas of his body that are limp, but his whole body in this case. And then they shoved his limp little body, like Tom Cruise sized body, and shoved it inside the front pouch of a kangaroo, which, by the way, memers out there, I need you. I know you're listening to the show. I know there's people out there called the Legion of Memers. I need somebody to make a picture, a meme of a kangaroo carrying around
brisket in the pouch.
Biscuit.
So you got marsupialed.
Yes, and I also need somebody to make a meme picture of a pepperoni pizza, and I want you to put, oh no, it's Alex's face on it, and I want the pepperonis to be strategically placed on his chest. So we need that
Just
to happen.
Face,
so I need those two things.
Cheese.
Yeah.
2 pepperonis.
That's it.
We'll commission that.
I need that. I need, oh no, it's Alex's pepperoni pizza nipple picture, and I need risk it for the biscuit put inside a kangaroo. So can we get that done, folks? We got some time in our hands. We can put the controllers down for 5 minutes, make some funny memes, and completely embarrass them online. Thank you so much, Risk It. Love you.
Thank you. Ciao. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's talk about Phil Spencer had a really great interview with Xbox Era, and they just kind of shot the crap. Just kind of talked. And Phil said some things in there that really bothered the console purists and some stuff. Like, I don't even know how you're supposed to answer this stuff when it comes to the multi-platform thing. And if you've been a avid viewer of XNC podcasts, Meg and I have been talking about this for a greater part of a year, and have really, the last thing I wanted to do was have a video floating around of me crying or whining or begging or pleading to Microsoft leadership to, back the truck up and change course. Honestly, have your cake and eat it too. I think PlayStation is in a lot of the same places right now. I'll actually lead with this, Mag, that PlayStation doesn't need to go day and date on PC because now Xbox is not a main direct competitor. But also, I'll tell you, that's actually probably a bigger reason why they would go day and date as soon as they can. I think their only holdback is if their studios are equipped or ready to pipeline in the PC port along with the PS5 port. And if they can, and if they should, or I think they should, right now, I bet you the bean counters and the financial leaders at PlayStation have said, look, we can still sell PlayStations. People are not going over to Xbox, or not going over to PlayStation to Xbox. So we can release Death Stranding 2 or even Ghost of Yotai on PC day and date. Here's the chart. We'll still continue to sell PS5s and the same trajectory, which Destin has pointed out is slightly below last generation. Before we get into that, let me say another thing, shoehorn this in. Destin made a compelling point that right now, console market is not growing, even though PlayStation has an incredible successful rate of 75 million shipped PS5s. They are just slightly below the PS4. Now, take that as pretend you're a business owner, and I know Mag kind of is one. If you looked back and said, where were we 8 years ago? Or where were we 4 years ago? How about that? Where were we at the end of 4 years? And your people tell you we're slightly below where we were 4 years ago in that trajectory. You'd be like, dang it. Because you always want to have a slight increase, be it 2% or 8% or 10%.
Absolutely.
PlayStation consoles are at negative 1.98%. They're way better than Xbox is like at negative 40% probably, right? But PlayStation also only sells.
I don't have the numbers I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yeah, you're in the ballpark. Yeah.
I have the numbers because they were down 36% and then they were down 42% one time. So they're probably evening out around negative 40% on average. And PlayStation's at a -2. But my point being is that they've probably been looking at the numbers and they're being told that they can still have their cake and eat it too. We can still make money selling consoles. We can still sell a bunch of games on console. And we can also have far more money selling a game like Spider-Man 2 on day and date on PC. Now, if Spider-Man 2 had released on PC day and date, it would have sold far more copies in the beginning, like big time. And them waiting to put it on PC has not helped them. It's only given them a little bit of bonus money.
They don't want to. They're not going to do it anyway. The point is, and I've already said this before. First of all, this Phil interview, we're going to get to that in a second.
Yep.
The first party stuff going on PC is not going to happen day and date because they don't want you to go on their day and date. They want you to be in the PlayStation Store. So they're going to risk losing those sales in order to get those people onto the PlayStation so that they have access to the PlayStation Store. Another reason why I understand, they wanted you to sign, like for some of the games, they wanted you to sign into the PSN network. That was not an accident. And nor was that for security purposes only. All of this is designed to get you. All of it is designed, and this goes for, as I said before, ad nauseum. This goes for Xbox, Meta, Amazon, everybody else. They want you, PlayStation, obviously, Nintendo. They all want you into their storefront. And that is exactly why they're not going to go day and date. And they've openly said they're not going day and date on PC, is because they want you to get into the PlayStation ecosystem. It's not about bragging rights for number consoles. It's not about anything else. It's not about let's break last generation's record. They don't care about that stuff. They just want those people in the store so that when they buy Call of Duty, you're buying the skins on PlayStation. If you're playing what the hell's that game? Oh, my God, for the life of me. Oh, Fortnite. See what happens when you turn 50, folks?
It's already happening.
You play, and no kidding, it's already happening. You're playing Fortnite, you want to buy the Mariah Carey skin, they want you to buy it on PlayStation because you're already in the store. They don't give a crap about the actual console sale. What do they make on it? $26?
Do care. They do care quite a big deal about the console sale. Xbox doesn't because they can't rely on it.
They want you in the,
but you're in the store if you buy a PS5, you're in the store. Like that's where you are.
Care about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Now the thing is, Microsoft is losing that battle significantly. So what did Phil do? He did exactly what I've been saying for like a year and a bloody half already. He said, in not so many words, if the party ain't coming to us, we're bringing the party to them. And what did Phil say? He said word for word what I've been saying the whole effing time. Why? Because the people I talked to are sitting right next to him, or maybe 2 seats over. But anyways, the point is, what did he say? The 70% we make off those games really helps us. Okay? That is exactly why they're doing it, folks. So he said, if the party ain't coming here, we make the 70% off over there. Right? So they're still going to get it all. If they sold 60 something percent of Call of Duty on PlayStation, Microsoft made 70% of every single one of those sales. They don't care either. The only problem is they're not getting people in the store. Except for the loyalists. How
about I tell you some of these bullet points that Phil said, and then you can riff off of that because I have them like paraphrased.
While you do that, I'm going to mute the microphone and blow my nose.
Okay, I didn't need that much time. Let's all watch him while he does that. That looks pretty good. Phil Spencer said that in this interview with Xbox Era that he wants to be transparent on all their games are coming to other platforms, and to expect in the next game showcase that every trailer will have a PS5 logo as well as Xbox and Game Pass and PC.
That I didn't expect. I did not expect that.
He even said, Mag, that they planned on doing that at Developer Direct in January, but they didn't have all the assets ready, so they just decided to only have one of them, which I think was Ninja Gaiden 4. Okay. And Phil also said, I understand that this is not what everyone else is doing. And Paris was on the show this a couple weeks ago, and he said PlayStation's in the same boat as Xbox. And I agree with him quite a bunch. Quite a majority of that I agree with, because PlayStation does have their own issues. One of their biggest problems right now is that half of their studios, or the majority of their studios, are they've been kicked back a few notches. Like you talked about Ben Studios. A lot of their studios are like Ben. They lost 2 or 3 years of headway toward providing content on the console. The other issue is that PlayStation relies, just like Xbox, exactly like Xbox. PlayStation relies on 80% of their business being done outside of their first-party studios. Mass majority of their money made is off of other people's games, other people's microtransactions and DLC, etc.
Correct.
So Phil said game growth should be the priority because he says right now, the problem with franchises and games right now, which are failing or floundering or trying to survive, is that they die when it doesn't benefit us as gamers if games are exclusive, because it just means fewer people can play those games. And then you risk Alan Wake 2. Like Alan Wake from Remedy is like game of the year material. It's having a hard time turning a profit. So what do you think about Phil saying that the game growth should be the prioritizing the priority for them, and that you shouldn't gatekeep where people play games? Like, what's your take on that? Or is that just an Xbox problem?
As it stands right now, if you're asking me in 2025, that is currently an Xbox problem.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, I'm saying that you're still selling, PlayStation is still not selling monstrous amount of first-party games. They're doing enough to do very well. Like, for example, we talked about, I know some people out there like, oh, Astro Bot only sold 1.5 or 2 million, whatever, and it's a failure. No, it's not. It's not a failure. Stellar Blade, same thing. No, it's not. The small studios.
Thankfully, it costs a lot less to make. Yeah,
it costs a lot less. The labor costs a lot less. The production costs a lot less. They sell 1 million to 2 million copies of either or game, and they made a crap ton of money. And now they're already developing not only just DLC, they're also developing new games as we speak. So there are there are various degrees of success when it comes to these games. Sure, they get a Spider-Man 2, you're going to need to sell 10 million copies for it to be a success because it costs $212 million to put together, or whatever, $250 million to put together the game. It's the same as a movie. I could release an independent film. You and I could make like a $10 million horror movie, and we make $25 million off it. You go, oh, wow, that movie only made $25 million. What a failure. No, it's not. Because Colteastwood and Mag just made $5 million each on the movie, and then we still made a profit on that. Sure, but if we directed a $250 or $300 million Fantastic Four movie, it's got to make $1 billion for us to be able to buy a grilled cheese sandwich the next day.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sounds good.
So
right
like
now.
it's all relative to that. But the thing is, and this is the thing that a lot of people completely ignore, especially when it comes to particularly PlayStation, is because they are the dominant market leader. You're absolutely right, Colt. What you said is that the majority of these third-party sales and a lot of the other things, the DLCs, the skins, the microtransactions, are purchased on PlayStation, which is what they want. They make the majority of their money off of that. The number one selling games on PlayStation every year is Call of Duty. They don't even own it. Microsoft does. But Microsoft takes 70%, Sony takes 30%, everybody goes home happy, and then they laugh at everybody that's in the console wars.
Take it to the limit.
Yeah, take it to the limit. And they're both sitting around laughing about it, making billions of dollars while people are arguing and throwing pies at each other online about who's making more money. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yep.
These guys are all doing well. What we should be focusing on is good quality games that we have fun playing with ourselves or playing with our friends and family. That's all that should matter to us. Now, back to business. Yeah. They do the majority of that. They make the majority of those money off of that, and therefore they can continue, and they've openly talked about it when they say we release 10, like the PlayStation side, they release 10 first-party games. It says all they need is 1 or 2 of those to be successful. The rest can fail because the rest ended up getting carried and subsidized by a lot of this third-party, the third-party finances that come in and can basically keep PlayStation alive and pumping. Right? You get Concord that loses $300 million or whatever it lost. I can't remember how much it lost. And then people are like, that's it. Sony's closing it. No, they're not.
400 million, I think it was.
Yeah, or 400 million? Are you serious?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Either way, it was a ludicrous amount of money that they lost. But you know what? Did you see the last quarter finances? I did. I had the spreadsheets right in front of me. Did you see the last quarter finances? They dominated the living Christ out of the gaming industry by doubling.
Their operating margin is dicey, though. It's at...
Sure.
Like 12, anything under 12% is pretty rough. And what were they at?
I think they were at 7. 7.6, I think it was, or maybe it was 7.1. One of the two.
And I don't agree with you on the PC day and date. You make a super compelling point, but I think the operating margins, like revenue's high, console sales are going, but PlayStation's operating margin is where the new CEO of PlayStation is going to be like, we can't afford to wait 14 months to put out a game on PC. Like it needs to be sooner. It needs to be sooner.
I think that now here's where this is where we're gonna have a gentleman's bet on this.
Oh, sure.
I think that and what I mean by that is a gentle disagreement here. And the thing is, they want people in that PlayStation store, and as a result of that, they're going to continue to balk on putting shortening that window. It might shorten up a little bit, but not a lot. I don't think they're gonna shorten the window enough where people will wait. That FOMO is still going to be able to get people to be like, listen, man.
Yeah, and I also don't think they're going to wait until next generation to go day and date on PC. That has no bearing on it. Like there isn't a time period.
No, there's no time period on that. I really don't think that they're going in that direction. We'll get back to Xbox in a minute. I'm just trying to explain the whole spectrum here of where I think this is going. And they're not going to do that because once again, they're going to have to get those people in the store. I could see the only time I could see Sony doing that and going, let's say day and date on PC. The only way I could see them doing that is if that third party support where they make the majority of their money starts to flounder.
Oh yeah,
if
which
for
won't
whatever
happen.
reason,
That won't happen.
Which won't happen.
Yeah.
But let's just say, for argument's sake, it did. Now the funny thing is, some people are like, it may happen. It may start to crash. You know what's actually funny? Guess who's supporting them more than anything right now? I'll give you one guess, chat. Who's supporting PlayStation in the next year or the next coming years more than any other publisher on the planet? Don't worry, I'll answer for you.
Xbox, yeah.
So Xbox games are releasing as a steady cadence on the PlayStation. In fact, they're keeping Sony in first place by doing so, by releasing these big first-party bangers like Doom, soon to be, we get the Starfield and then the Avowed, and then now we talked about why those games aren't coming day and date, because when Project Latitude came in, it wasn't implemented during the development time of those games, so they weren't able to do ports fast enough. They're working on that stuff, so it's going to come out later. Doom was already on the docket to be a third party to begin with. That was never a question. So it's not like they switched one day and said, by the way, we're going third party with Doom. Because Doom 1 and 2 were already third party, and they already had every intention of keeping it third party, so it was there from development from day one. Those other games are going to come in time as they catch up with the development, but then every game forward after that, you can almost expect, I would imagine most of them will be day and date with PlayStation. So the funny thing is, the irony is that third-party support that is so essential for PlayStation's ecosystem to stay alive and make money is actually going to be fed by Microsoft. The hilarity of people arguing online or calling me a jackass in the chat or whatever else, you are such fools that you don't realize that they are all helping each other, and they're driving Ferraris while you're throwing pizza pockets at your screen because of what I'm saying. It makes no sense. Like they're making all the money.
Yeah, if 80% of their revenue comes from everybody else's games, and half of their prominent games come from Xbox Game Studios in the rest of the generation, or at least just like this coming year, you can see where everybody is just going to make money. And the Nintendo Switch 2, that's going to get some PlayStation. I think there'll be a couple PlayStation ports on Switch 2, and Xbox is going to put games on Switch 2, and other platforms are going to put other publishers are going to go to Switch 2. Like all of this feeds into, holy crap, in 2022, 2023, the industry is dying. 15% is being cut across the board on every studio, no matter who you are, to a situation where things are going to get a lot better, and it's going to be more lucrative for everybody, and it means we're going to get more consistently cadenced games. Also, one thing that I don't know much about this, and maybe Detective Seeds can shine some light on this as well.
I know
because
he knows.
Yeah, my question about PC, because another thing that you're not taking into account with PlayStation going to PC sooner rather than later is that they're trying to really incentivize and push people to sign into a PSN account on PC. And I haven't really thought about this. I don't know how this works, but Detective Seeds, if they tell you to play Helldivers 2 and sign in as a PSN account, are you kind of funneled into their store? So if you want to buy microtransactions or whatever, that money goes straight to PlayStation, or does it go to Steam? Like if you're logged into, like they were incentivizing, what game was it? I think it was Spider-Man 2. They were incentivizing if you sign in as your PSN account, we'll give you the Miles Morales outfit or something, because they really want you to do that. Now, like you said, Meg, I don't know if they're doing that for bragging rights. Like, look how many monthly active users we have, or if they're
No.
doing it because it funnels people into their ecosystem properly.
Into the store.
Okay.
That's
here's
what
my
they
other
want.
thing.
They want people in the store. That's all it is, man. There's no mystery to this. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no magic to it.
There's also a talk about PlayStation making their own PC store. I don't know if they're going to do that, but if they do, then they would just be there day and date. That would just be another screen.
If they did that, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Now, if they were, but I don't think that they were going to do that. I mean, at least not in the foreseeable future. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if Detective Seeds has heard anything. I certainly haven't heard anything on that in that respect. Excuse me, in regards to that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. What this is that then the thing is, I wanted to get into these very quickly about what you're talking about, how a lot of people were doom and glooming the industry in general. All the game industry's dying. All these people are getting let go. They were getting let go because they overhired during the pandemic, and they slowly but surely started shaving those numbers back down to pre-pandemic numbers. This is also not a mystery. It had nothing to do with greed or money or losing money. No, they brought on too many people, and then the industry had spiked during the pandemic, and then it leveled out again. And then it leveled out to pre-pandemic numbers. So in order to maintain their business balance, so to speak, is that they had to dump all those people that they brought on during the pandemic thinking that it was going to stay there. Why do you think the streaming wars really fired up during the pandemic? Because a lot of people, not all of us, but a lot of people were sitting at home doing nothing for months.
and hadn't owned a console.
And some people years. Yeah. And so what they do? They were playing video games and watching movies and TV shows, and then all of a sudden what ended up happening? Then the streaming wars began. Now what's happening? Look at the streaming wars now. All the streaming sites are dying. Except for Netflix is the only one that's showing profit. Now, Amazon doesn't give a crap because Amazon is doing the same thing as Game Pass. They don't even need growth in Amazon Prime. They're just
because they're not reliant on it, on just that one thing.
No, they're just using that as a tool for you to go to the store, right? To the Amazon storefront. Because how do you have access to Amazon Prime? Oh, don't worry, I'll answer for you. You have to be an Amazon Prime member on their shopping site. It's the same thing with Xbox. If you go into Xbox, that's why Game Pass is no longer their focus. It's just a tool to get the 15% to 20% of hardcore Xbox gamers stay in Game Pass. They get a great deal on games, but guess what? You're automatically funneled to the Xbox store and have access there for everything. So that if you want to buy Avowed 4 days early or 5 days early, all you have to do is already have Game Pass. Well, then you could pay an extra $30 and you can play Avowed 5 days early. It's a perk. They did the same thing with Forza Horizon.
They're doing it with all their games.
Right, and this is how they do it, dude. So they're going to be making money there and funnel you to the store. And that's
I want to speak on that really quick.
Works.
I want to speak on that because I had that as a topic and I wasn't sure if we were going to cover it because I know where you stand when it comes to FOMO. Mag's totally not a FOMO guy. He's like, I like to kick back and wait and get a good deal and when a game's polished out, which I think is amazing. That's awesome. But Phil said in this interview, he's like, I'm not trying to push everyone to Game Pass. In fact, because he said, I'm not trying to get people to leave the PlayStation, Nintendo, and come to Xbox. He said that because he knows in the 2020s, like, you're already set. Like the console specific people or the console centric people who are usually Gen Xers and millennials are not going to change where they play. You get the occasional person who's like, I'm leaving, I'm switching, and I'm going to let everyone know it. You know, that there's not many people like that. I mean, if there's 100,
I'm leaving Twitter.
Yeah, if there's
it's like, why are you tweeting on X if you leave? Just
I'm
leave.
going to Blue Sky.
Nobody asked
toxic
you,
there until everyone goes.
Go
super toxic.
with Paul Tassi on Blue Sky.
Yeah. Shout out to Paul Tassi.
Sorry.
But
is it Paul Tassi?
Yeah. No. What was I going to say? Oh,
Never
yeah.
mind.
So if there's 100
Paul.
people that are like console purists, or they like that's their jam, right? There's only like 2 people in that room that would like just get up and leave. As I just saw my replay on the screen in the lag delay of the internet where I flipped my head back like Bert and Ernie. I mean, there are a couple of people who say I'm leaving console, but I think Phil's right. It's hard to say it as someone who's talked about Xbox for so long. It's like, Phil's like, I'm not in the business trying to get people to leave their platform. He's saying that out of necessity because it's just not going to happen. Like those people are ingrained. And you and I've talked, Meg, about how the younger generation, the Gen Y or the Gen Zs or Alphas, like they don't give a crap about a console. They don't give a crap about the next big AAA action adventure, open world, immersive sim. They want to play games where they interact with their friends. They've got this new thing like the biggest games for them are Roblox, Minecraft, Among Us, stuff like that. Like those are really important. Dress for Success is like it's a viral game across young people who like to socialize and play. They don't want to sit by themselves and listen to a character talk for 8 hours. That's just kind of how it is. Phil steps back, as most of us should, just say, where's the industry going? Like, what do you like? Like, are you going to get the experience you want if you're just an Xbox fan? If like you're only on console, and we're going to get into that as well. Like what happens to all my games? They don't do console. We'll get into that as well. Holy crap, my tangent never got to where I wanted to go. But Phil said he's not interested in that. I'm sorry, what you said, Meg. Happy birthday to you, by the way. I got to read a couple supers for you.
All good. It's all good.
That Game Pass is not the only way. And people always like, oh, Microsoft. And they're wrong. Yeah, they're wrong yet again. These pundits, they think they have it figured out. They're so wrong. And if you're to believe Phil, I know it's very difficult sometimes the way he talks.
It's not Phil's fault.
Signal what's to come, and then he changes his mind.
I'm going to defend him when you're done. When you're done, I'm going to defend him.
He says, I'm not trying to push everyone in Game Pass. He said the same thing on that show on Saturday that you and I've said many times. Not because we're smart, not because we have a crystal ball, not because we have an inside track, just because it's reasonable. It's a level-headed thought process that Xbox says, we want you to play on cloud. We want you to play on console. We want you to play on PC. We want you to play on Game Pass. We want you to play on a TV. And because they realize that it's so hard to pull that net out, throw that net out and hope to catch as many people as you can when you spend a couple $100 million on a game. Gosh dang it, I hope a lot of people play the game. Go ahead, Meg. Right. Sorry about that.
First of all, I didn't realize that you gave a wrench to Special Nick. This is nonsense. That needs to be removed immediately. I need him to be a regular. Yeah, he can't be a moderator.
Did I say on that show on Saturday? I did give you Xbox Era props earlier in the show. Yes, on the Xbox Era. I did not say on that show on Saturday. Did I say
First
that?
Of all, I'm already
the
upset
whole time.
That
the whole time.
I'm upset that Risket for the Biscuit has green text for his name, and then Special Nick is a moderator. This is nonsense. We can't let him wield all that power. He has the hand. He has Mjolnir in his hand. Like, you can't have that.
Yeah, it is scary. But shout out John and Nick and Jesse. They did a great job with that interview.
Paris, I see Paris in the chat too. Thank you, Paris, for the well wishes, the birthday wishes. I appreciate it, my friend. And a great show.
Hold on, I got to see if it's the real Paris because the spelling will be correct.
No, it's the real Paris. It's him. I know it's him. It's a proper spelling. Yes.
Yeah, people spell his name wrong all the time, and I'm like, he doesn't like that. He's gonna choke hold.
Maverick already in the chat. He's like, block me, Special Nick. Put me in timeout. Yeah. Hey, Special Nick, do me a favor. I gotta pee. Can you time me out for like 3 minutes? 97. I'm just kidding.
I want you to bring the mic with you when you go to the bathroom. That'd be amazing.
Oh my God. What do you mean, like Naked Gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it.
Yeah. I'm going to defend Phil on something here.
Yeah,
I don't know him personally. I mean, on a personal level, I don't sit there and have afternoon tea like him and Rand used to talk back in the day and still talk now and whatever else. But
that doesn't happen
here's
anymore.
The thing. Here's the thing. That poor guy he's always been, now, someone's going to go out there and go like, oh, look at this Xbox pundit defends Phil. You don't understand what this poor guy has gone through in all this time, where there's a lot of stuff going on at Microsoft that a lot of people don't know about. We talked about the civil war between the staff and ideologies between Microsoft and Xbox. That's been happening. And Phil, listen, the guy gets paid a ton of money, okay? Part of your job getting paid a ton of money is to deal with a ton of crap. You're also going to have to be the target for every time something works out or doesn't work out. If it works out, you're the hero. If it doesn't work out, you got to stand there while people throw rotten tomatoes at your face, right? From the crowd. And that's part of the problem too. And the poor guy, as they've been changing their ideologies and their business strategies fairly severely over the last couple of years since the pandemic, when they've been going, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. He's the one who has to have the speechwriter sit down and say, okay, dude, get in front of that camera and say this and that. Well, he's the one has to take all the rotten potatoes and tomatoes thrown at him and the heads of cabbage flying at his face and all this other stuff. You have to deal with that stuff, sure. Does he get to drive a Maserati on the way home from work?
Does he get to wipe his tears with stacks of cash?
Sure,
yeah.
he has to. Yeah. Yes, he has to do that too. But I'm saying before everybody paints a bad picture, you have to realize when you're in a position like that and you're not calling all the shots and he's not, right? There are people, there's always a bigger fish that, you know what I mean? Star Wars Episode 1, 1999, Qui-Gon Jinn. So there's always a bigger fish. So the point is that he has to take all the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, as William Shakespeare had once eloquently said. And as a result of such
Come on, keep it on the level of our audience, like lower the literature. Grade a couple notches for me.
Is that then you get 8,000 YouTube videos and 9,000 tweets every day about him and whatever else. They don't realize that it's actually not a lot of it is him. A lot of him, he's just the messenger, and everybody's falling for the trap and shooting the damn messenger all the time. It's not like he sits there and he's making every decision going, you know what? Gets drunk and like grabs a bottle of like
I think he fought
bourbon.
I think he fought the multi-plat strategy. To my personal opinion, I think he fought it as long as he could.
Yes.
He would not have sat there, and I know we make the joke. He wouldn't have sat there and gone, it's not a signal of what's to come. He wouldn't have said that in January, February last year to turn around a couple of months, because there's a two months later, I think it was, in an interview, he's like, yeah, we're going to be putting our games on more platforms, or 4 months later. Like, he wouldn't have said that if he wasn't thinking that wouldn't happen.
Well, exactly. It's not like he's sitting at home drunk one day drinking like drinking bourbon, and all of a sudden he's like halfway through a bottle and he just goes, guess what? Tomorrow we're going multi-plat.
Sir.
You know what I mean?
Phil, sir, then, we've lost Tim Dog.
Yeah, like he doesn't, that's not how it works. A lot of times these decisions are made, meetings happen. Sure, he's there. It's not like he's not there. It's not like they come to him to be like, by the way, we're doing this. Go on camera and talk about it. Obviously, he's there for that stuff, but not everything is his decision. Not everything he does can be, he can't have a direct effect on it. Now, that being said, he's still the front man, and being the front man, you're the one who has to, like I said, you have to go out there and portray this information. So when people call him a liar, he's not a liar. Like I said, the strategies keep changing, and this guy has to keep pivoting constantly. We're like, okay, well, now we're doing this. All right, well, now we're doing that. And they're like, yeah, but you said this. And they're like, yeah. And like, he can't, it's not like he can come out and say, I'm being forced to say this. He can't do that. They will fire him for saying something like you can't come out and say, yeah, listen, Satya's telling me to do this, and Amy Hood told me to do that, so here I am in front of the camera with IGN. That? You can't say that.
He's like, guys, I didn't want to
swallow it.
I didn't want to.
But he's being financially compensated quite a bit for what he's doing. But the thing is, before everybody jumps to conclusions as to what kind of person he is, I could tell you this: when he retires, sooner rather than later, from that position, you're gonna miss somebody like him. And you know why? Because he was an effing gamer first.
He's an actual gamer.
He's an actual gamer, a programmer, and a person who actually loves this goddamn industry, as opposed to some corporate scumbag asshole that you would get that don't care about what we do. They don't care about me. They don't care about you, and they don't care about anybody in this industry. All they see is dollars and cents, and we are just dollar signs walking around. You're going to miss someone like Phil one day. So before everybody really stops talking crap about him, just be careful about who you criticize and why you criticize them. That's all I want to say about that.
Yeah, and I don't know much about PlayStation's executive leadership. So they don't have to be gamers to be great leaders, because PlayStation's a great example or proof that you don't have to be a huge gaming fan to run a great gaming business. But I know how much Jason Ronald, Phil, and Matt Booty, like, they have a legacy of gaming with them, and some don't, but 108 Dragon says, Colt loser says hi.
I just saw that. I look over.
Let me read a couple supers, because I appreciate you guys. You guys are showing your support for Mag on his 50th birthday. Like, I don't know why he chose to sit here with me for his birthday, but that makes him a good friend in my book. But Papa Fresh gives a $2 super chat, says, cool with the dancing aerobic pair. Pair. I almost said person. Pair. Yeah. Chia. Andy Hart with the £5 super chat says, any idea why Rockstar didn't do day and date for GTA on PC? I think that was nearly a year, GTA 4, interesting. And for 5, just a double dip. They said it themselves. They said, we want a double dip. Yeah. And those words almost. Face 23, looking. I spat. I spitted.
Dude,
time
I spit on my
did
second screen, like when I was doing my little speech there about Phil. I spit half of like my water bottle all over the screen, and I'm like, as soon as this show is done, I'm going to have to take a lint cloth and wipe that down. But anyways, that's that's how we do, man.
Yeah. By the way, if you have a fairly new TV like a OLED, a couple of spritzes of demineralized water on a microfiber cloth, and it perfectly cleans up.
108 Dragon, you're right, dude. Sorry, Lemons in the chat. He just said Jack Tretton was the best leader for PlayStation. He was a gamer. That's absolutely right. And you know what? You miss people like that. I'm not saying Phil's leaving tomorrow. I'm just saying when he does leave, you know, for all the criticism, and listen, they deserve all the criticism too, and all the smoke and everything else. They effed up for a lot of years, okay? And they left a lot of gamers. They left a lot of Xbox gamers with nothing to play. They got nothing but in their hands but Stugats. For any Italian who knows what that means, that's all they had in their hands for years, and they messed up. But what I'm saying is, on a fundamental level, you're going to miss someone like Phil when he goes, because that's a gamer who knows how to identify with us as people. Yeah. He's in the trenches too. The man is always online playing games, doing all that stuff. There's a lot of executives out there that don't even know what a controller looks like.
Like Jim Ryan holding the controller upside down. Face 23 Brook, New York, with the $2 super chat says, PlayStation is a Steam of consoles. Well, that's a lie. Absolutely not. Steam has millions and millions of games. It's the most pro-consumer platform on the planet. Offers the best in refunds. Has the most sales, the best value of any other platform. PlayStation doesn't even come close. And if you're talking about the popularity, Nintendo's got that on lock. PlayStation is the PlayStation of consoles. It's the tissue of Kleenexes. Thank you for the super chat. The doctor, your friend.
The doctor!
With a Canadian
my first cousin.
$7 super chat. He's your what?
He's my first cousin, man.
I know you tell me every week.
Yeah.
I can probably finish your sentences for you.
He's a brother.
He is a brother. Look at this picture. He also looks like he could, crack a few skulls. He says, happy birthday to the one and only Mag.
Wow.
Greatest memory, listening to Dracula's soundtrack in the dark and the Juggernaut.
Yes. That's it, man. Yeah, we won't elaborate on any of that stuff.
Were you guys wearing pants?
We'll just say yes. What?
Nothing?
Maybe. Yeah, carry on.
Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat with the Australian Texas. Have a pint on me, Mag. Happy birthday.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes.
And he's always there, by the way. Every time I'm doing one of my live streams, like I said, I didn't do any live streams last week or any shows because I had COVID. So my channel was very quiet for a week. But I'm back this week. But I got to tell you, man, he's on every single one of my streams. He's always there. So awesome. Him and Magnum always shows up at some point. I got Noisy Mofo in there. And a whole bunch of other cats always come by to say hi and see what's up. Steven Xbox Gamer's always there. Yeah, man. Good times.
Yeah, Noisy Mofo was in my live premiere of Avowed review at 6 a.m. So that's it's so cool to see.
He also lives 10 minutes away from me.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, late at night I sit outside his window.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just look in his window. I just talk gaming through his window. I do like a solo podcast outside his window. And he's
there's a chest from. Here's a chest if you want extra XP. Risk It for the Biscuit with the Australian $8 super chat. Thank you so much, Risk It. He says, BS aside, Mag is 100% here. He's 100. Phil is the pushback for gamers inside Xbox. He's not perfect, but believe me when I say some other executives you do not want. I think I know what he's alluding to. I think some of the leadership at Xbox and especially at Microsoft is like, let's do it. Let's go full multi-platform. Let's watch the money roll in.
It is what it is. It is what's going to be. I'm just saying what I said, and I don't have to repeat it, but I'm just saying he's a gamer and he always was. He was a developer. He's been there from the ground floor in the trenches with everybody, and he connects with people. He talks to people. He plays games with people, does podcasts with people. He knows what he's talking about. That's the kind of person you want. It's like even when you had like Stan Lee being the head of Marvel at some point, the man was sitting there drawing comics with his bare hand. You know what I mean? Like he was drawing comics with his hands.
He built that. Yeah.
He built it from the ground up. He didn't just sit there and go, yeah, make a comic about this, and then just go sit in his office and do nothing. No, man, he was there doing all that stuff. He knew everything. And he'd be like, oh, Red Ghost, Fantastic Four number 13. That's the first one he showed up in. And they knew, because those are the kind of people that do it. And then what do you have now? They sold Marvel Comics to Disney, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. You know what I mean? So you lose that magic. You lose that passion that we have because it's our hobby. Obviously, it's his job. Let's not forget. Okay, let's not get it twisted. There's still a line there. It's still his job, and he gets paid to do that in order to support his family and everything else. But at the same time, he has a passion for the business. And as critical as I have been of him especially over the last 4 years, because I think this generation has not done what it should have done, not even close, but they were this close from getting there, and then things changed and whatever else. But it is what it is. But it still doesn't change the kind of person that I believe he is. So, anyways, carry on.
And I agree. Like, they're a couple years
Phil,
too late.
If you ever listen to that, and I shake your hand one of these days, and I will. Just remember that.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm sure he's far too humble for that, but I don't know. Whatever. Like I just got to the point where I'm like, I just really want the games, and I got tired of waiting 8 years for the games to arrive, and here they are. And really, what is taken away from me other than bragging rights? But
listen, man, Overlord, I see you in the chat there. He says, "Are these dudes defending Xbox?" I'm not. Xbox
sure shouldn't sound like it if you're
If you actually listen with your ears, you'll find that I'm actually more critical of Xbox than anything else.
Same.
Because Xbox did not do well this generation. I think my opinion, for outside of financial, for me personally, I don't think that they did not do what I expected them to do this generation, and I'm not happy with it.
I don't think
so. I'm talking about Phil as a person. I'm not talking about the gaming about Xbox.
Yeah, and I don't
take it easy, Overlord.
I don't expect people to always listen to everything.
It's my favorite.
I don't expect people to always listen to everything we're saying, but I say things every week that I don't know if Phil ever watches the show, but I've said a lot of things here. I say a lot of things that he'd probably like, I wish you didn't feel that way, but it's how it is. Yeah. And I don't know. And I also don't, there was a whole thing with Xbox Era where people are like, where are the hard hitting questions? It's like, that's not how it works. We're not Geraldo Rivera over here for you, like Gen Xers. We're not, it's not ambush journalism. Huh, Phil? What'd you do? Why'd you lie, Phil? Yeah. Why'd you lie? And like, I saw Paris get called out. A tweet 1 year ago, he said, Xbox is not going third party. Well, 1 year later, they are. And they're like, this you? Think about how stupid that looks. When, if you put a lie detector test on these guys, even the anti-Xbox guys, and you said, did you really truly believe in your heart that Xbox was going to go full third party in a year's time? The lie detector would have said, no way they thought that was going to happen. So why would you expect someone who actually pays attention to Xbox business would think that they would pull a 180 like they did? Yeah, it surprised and shocked everyone. I want to ask you about the what if, the time machine thing in just a moment, but we got 108 Dragon Lemon says, happy birthday, Mag, and welcome to the team of the 50s with a $5 super chat.
Thank you, Lemon. Love you, brother. Big ups to New York, buddy. Family's originally from the Bronx. You know how it is.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Oh, by the way, the liar Paris is in the chat saying,
oh, there he is. Yeah. He's got a different icon than what I was. Yeah. This you,
bro.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was funny that Brittany Brombacher was like, how do they have time for this? And I always forget that I'm on Twitter a lot. And from the outside, for people who aren't psychotic, to see people like, let me find this. Let me do a search. Let me search Paris' account. Yeah. Okay, right. Not third party or Xbox third party, and look and try to find. Oh, finally, I found something. Let me screenshot it really quick and keep it in my phone. Like, grow up. I even had people attacking me this week about the first party things. They're still on this first party thing. When Insomniac said there's no such thing as second party, these games are first party.
Yeah, dude,
there's some deficiency.
Can I just say something? Just play your games.
Yeah,
talk about them on your channel, my channel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Paris does what he does, and everybody else in the chat do what they do, and Lemon does things on his channel. Go check out his last video, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I was watching it, and we just do what we do. And the people that talk the most smack about everything, have you looked at some of their gamer scores or how many trophies they got or whatever else? They're barely on there playing anything. They're ones with the biggest mouths. Meanwhile, look at someone like us. I'll take even me, for example. This generation alone, since 2020, I've got 43 platinums on PlayStation and 400,000 gamer score. Wow, just under 400,000 gamer score on Xbox.
More than me.
So while these guys are yapping and yip-yapping and this and that and whatever, all right, when they're doing all that crap, we're busy playing video games and having a great time. So let them. That's fine. Go ahead, talk.
Yeah,
If
that's
you guys don't know
good.
what
That's
you're
good
doing,
advice. It just
talk
gets
and play and
ridiculous.
enjoy yourself, man. Guess what? When you see me playing Doom on PlayStation this year, as well as Xbox, you can go home and cry to your mama.
Cry to your mammy.
Yeah.
I also got attacked. Achievement unlocked.
I
also got attacked for taking that landscape image over that landscape video over Avowed's lighthouse because Digital Foundry was talking about how amazing the draw distance is with no pop in, thanks to Nanite on UE5. And I'm like, and I said, I think it was Avowed's draw distance is incredible. I think is what the words were. And for the whole weekend, everyone, like half of the replies were people trying to convince me how mid, woke, ugly, unimpressive, how games have done it better. When I didn't say, my tweet didn't say Avowed has the best draw distance of any game, especially PlayStation. And that's how these people read it because, hate to break it to you, they're more biased than I am because like their cognitive dissonance is insane. But you know, happy birthday to you. 108 Dragon says with the $2 super chat, what's Jim Ryan's gamer tag? I'll wait. Nothing. That dude doesn't play anything other than Fruity Pebbles. Stanley Buffington, which is a great name. I don't know if that's his real name.
That's a fantastic name. I love it.
I mean,
it's a great British porno name. Like if I were a British porn star, that would be my name.
I would like to enter your place of events. My name is Stanley Buffington. I'd like to detrowel me knickers.
Yeah, just after finish my beans on toast and I got to go on camera.
You need to stop trying burgers. He says the $5 super. Colt, did you think PlayStation's going date on PC before the generation ends? What announced game do you predict will be the first one to go? Yeah, I would say that's fair. I do think they're going to go day and date before the generation ends. What would be their first game? Yeah, I do. I would tell you probably the best bet would be Death Stranding 2 because they only paid for exclusivity. They're also publishing it. But I'm not quite sure if they're going to go yet. So it's really hard for me to say because the funny thing is if it's live service, they've already said it's going day and date.
Live service is not in the conversation. That's not because they already said that's day and date.
Hold on. This is what's ridiculous about this conversation. Well, it's live service. And of course, it's day and date. What the F are we even talking about then? Oh, the precious single player exclusive game is going to be not sullied by the PlayStation, by the PC release. You realize how insane that sounds? That there's like, we're going to carefully and we're going to coddle these games with kid gloves and we're going to keep them on console because they're considered to be a single player only. I think that finances and the money making trajectory is going to change that in the near future. I don't know when that's going to be. Will I be wrong? Maybe, probably.
Hold on. You did say before next generation. I want this to be a live gentleman's bet that you and I are going to go like this. We're gonna virtually shake. Hold
on, I need to get. Okay.
Raise your hand.
Well, hold on.
There you go. Right
over here, over like this on the side. No,
there
other side. Other side.
God damn it! Like this. Okay, there you go.
Well, your hand's bigger. Hold on, let me get it.
Well, you know, we know what to say about guys with big hands.
Do this.
They wear big gloves.
You do this, and then you go in here. Go in here.
Oh, you want me to?
Yep. Go in here.
And this is so weird. Okay. Well, anyways, you get the point. We just did a virtual handshake. I say that PlayStation will not. By the way, that was so sexually uncomfortable. I don't know where that went.
I'm good for it.
Yeah. I'm saying that PlayStation will not release their first-party games outside of live service games day and date on PC. They will not
until PS6
generation.
Okay,
I'm not even sure about PSX. I still think the focus. Will
you
be
think
the
they'll hold that forever? How about
to make forever? I can't say forever
because we're old. Let's make the bet that once PS6 starts, then you don't have to worry about the bet. How about that?
Then we'll do a new bet in the PS6.
Jago 6 goes. I call pause on that handshake. That was good.
It was a little bit uncomfortable.
You ever do this one?
And Colt is saying that they will before the generation is over. So let's see, and we're gonna hold this. We're gonna hold this one for a couple of years because it'll be at least 3 years.
I don't want to hear any crap when you're just like, well, they announced DLC, so it's considered a live service game. I think you and I will probably agree when that break happens or not, but I don't know.
That's a
know.
good question though. DLC. I don't like. Would DLC even count if the game's
if
already
it's
out on
not a
PC,
gas game?
That's different.
And I agree with Mag. If it's not a gas game, then it's a traditional game. If it goes to PC, then something happens with that bet, sir. So yeah, I'll hold to that. Why not? Nobody cares in the future anyway. But I think I do think in the next year or two, you're going to see something.
We're having
different.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Wolverine, even though that's like totally. You just never know. You know,
all right,
things
we'll
will
find
change.
out. I'm excited. I'm excited to find out.
Let's see. Did I get that? Stanley Buffington says that is his real name. Bro, what a legend.
Dude.
What a legend.
That's like saying that your real name is Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What a fantastic name.
Yeah.
I love that name.
Lost Soul Aside, Malik says, that's already coming to PC as well. And I'm seeing the replay of our hands. Totally distracts
Dude,
me.
it's so,
we're like,
it's so...
Lost Soul Aside is a first party game. They're publishing it, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to do the ground rules on that one because that already breaks the ground rule. Lost Soul Aside is not a service-based game. It's published, it's first party from PlayStation, and it's day and date on PC. But it's not from their studio. So I think we would agree if Insomniac, Bend, Housemarque. Well, what if Housemarque's...
It has to be a first party studio.
What if Housemarque's Soros game was...
Then you win.
Yeah, I mean... Something like that.
Housemarque is a first party. That's a first party game, single player first party game.
Single player first party studio is what we have to say, right?
So if Housemarque's game goes, I lose the bet.
Yeah.
That's
by the way, what are we betting? I never bet. I kind of have
just a gentleman's bet. No, just a gentleman's bet.
Gentleman's bet, and then we'll slap each other's faces at the break of dawn.
Yeah, it's just bragging rights. Just bragging rights.
Stanley Buffington will be there to officiate the whole thing. Take 20 paces and drop your trousers.
Ah, yes. Drop your trousers. My goodness. That'd be almost...
Sword fight at noon. Yes, at high noon.
Oh, my God.
Don't cross the streams, Vector. Yeah.
Yeah, don't cross the streams.
Anyway, that's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, Phil Spencer said a lot of stuff, and we've covered the multi-platform stuff. That covers it. Elder Scrolls 6. Oh, before I do that... Yes. Now, I'm going to save that for another day. Elder Scrolls 6, I guess Bethesda finally admitted it is still a thing. Besides 2 years ago when Todd Howard talked about the first quest and the first level was already built of Elder Scrolls 6 as of 2022. And now it is 2025, and they have not said a word about Elder Scrolls 6 outside of the 2018 reveal. 7 years. Now they're doing a Make-A-Wish Charity Foundation drawing where you can enter in and be entered as a character in a quest or a side quest for Elder Scrolls 6. Phil Spencer said in the 2023 proceedings for ABK that Elder Scrolls 6 was exclusive. He lied. You're always lying.
When they did announce it and they had the acquisition and the merger, it was exclusive.
Yes, it was.
Then things changed. So again, this harkens back to what we talked about. He's not a liar. They just changed the game on him. So then he has to come out and say, yeah, it's coming day and date on PS5. And it will. And so, like, you know, it's just there's nothing he could do about it at that point. You can call him a liar all you want, but that's what the information at the time, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So anyways, carry on. Sorry, my bad.
There's not much, but Phil said in the proceedings of ABK that Elder Scrolls 6 was exclusive and that the game was set to come out in 2026, which is weird because they also said they have a game that's going to take 10 years, which puts Elder Scrolls 6 at 2028. Now, I do not believe, I believe it's possible, Mag, very possible that we get our next trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 at Showcase this summer, because I also believe that we're going to get a magical reveal of an early, soon release for Oblivion Unreal Engine 5 remake, a full remake of Oblivion. And what better to pair that palatable plate than to also give us another tease of just maybe an in-engine fly-through or just another teaser trailer that Elder Scrolls 6 is coming in the next year or two. And I think that timing is absolutely perfect. I know they're working on it. I know that a lot of people have been working on DLC for Starfield at the end of the year, but I would assume that the main Bethesda Softworks team is diving into Elder Scrolls 6, and then the support group is working on.
Oh, they've already been
trash.
They're neck
DLC.
deep. No, they're neck deep, man. They're chugging along. If you expect to see it before 2026, I don't know what to tell you, except for it's not. But I can confidently say that we're going to see Oblivion very, very soon.
Very soon, yes.
That I know for sure. So we will see that.
What would you
soon.
guess? Because I'm guessing Showcase. So are you there as well?
Yeah, Showcase. You're going to see June for sure, maybe July. Could be released as early as the summer, or it could be just later on in the year. But
that's
that
a wide
I don't know
net,
for sure. Unless somebody,
you're thinking
I know
like
it's a wide net, but
summer or late summer.
Unless somebody reaches out to me in the next week or so. I mean, a lot of them watch this show and then they'll get a hold of me, be like, "Dude, I heard you talk about X, Y, and Z," and then they tell me they tell me what's going on. So if I could find out before next week, then I'll let you know next show. What I'm being told, because I always get updates on what's going on and the progress of all the projects that are happening over in the game studios and stuff. So yeah, so I have a pretty good grasp on what's happening over there. But I will see if anybody reaches out to me this week, and hopefully I'll be able to give you an answer. So
okay.
Or not just you. I mean, give the chat an answer too. We got almost 600 people watching the show. I mean, I'm sure they want to know too, right? So
yeah,
at least if I feel like I can narrow the window.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. It's been a lot to talk about, and it's been kind of weird. It's been kind of weird as the year's kind of getting going, and it's always ups and downs. Like excited about Developer Direct. It comes and goes, and then like what's going to happen next. And right now, there's just a bunch of games. I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm going to play over the next 2 weeks, because in the beginning of March, I'll probably start reviewing Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I know I asked you guys in the chat, like, should I do a review on that? And I am really not feeling like I should. It's just, I don't know. It's
all right.
I don't know. I had a talk with a very prominent YouTuber that said, just block some words on your channel and stuff. But I'm like, just no one wants to talk about South of Midnight and Avowed and Assassin's Creed Shadows. No one wants to talk about those games as a game.
Really?
They don't want to talk about them as a game.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so it's more about I get you, like the politics around it or whatever else.
Yeah, and it's fine.
Drawing the most traffic these days and stuff.
Yeah, and it's fine. Like I should be able to just keep it gaming, and I do. But I check, like I read all. If you've been subscribed to my channel, if you've ever been cool enough to comment on my videos, I see all of them. I read all of them. I read all the great ones. I read the corrections, and I read all of the horrible things that people say that are they're just miserable people. They're not real. These mother effers ain't real, right? So I just feel like from right now on the onset that if I make the Assassin's Creed Shadows review, that it's just going to be overloaded with people telling me why they hate everything and everyone and why they're it's just, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
All right.
But Meg, happy birthday. I'm going to let you finish the rest of your cake. He sent me a picture of the cake his wife made for him. It was like a teal colored green cake with
wild,
with little mini controllers and the fondant on it. It's amazing.
She made them by hand. Well, I mean, she used to be a master baker. Baker with a K. You filthy minded sons of guns. Back in the day before she became an engineer. So when she was going down one career path and then had a sudden abrupt change of heart and decided a decade and a half ago, if not more, to decide to go down another path. So now she's a train engineer. So she works on giant industrial trains and stuff. So pretty cool. I don't know how the hell that happened, but either way it happened. And
it's not that far off from baking, really. It's pretty much all the same.
It's the same thing. Giant diesel trains, fondant. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she still has obviously the craft. And so she makes all these crazy cakes. She sells them she'll just do them on the side for fun, and she'll sell them for like $100, $150 a cake. These massive cakes, and she'll do wedding cakes for friends and things like that. And yeah, so she made little fondant controllers for me. It was actually pretty amazing. And ironically, they look like the 360 controllers. I thought that was kind of cute.
They're so small, anyways, like really cool.
Dude, yeah, cool. I don't know how she has steady hands, but mind you, she's not an alcoholic like her husband. So, I have the shaky alcoholic hands. But
you come in like
what it is.
You come in
you
like
kidding me? If I went to make a controller, it would look like a dead beaver that got run over by a truck. It would just be like splatted on the cake, like roadkill. But
that's gonna be your that's gonna be your 51st birthday cake as a dead beaver.
Well, Jesus, dude, come on, keep it clean, man. This is a family show. Anyways, Colt, thank you so much, man. And chat, thank you for all the support and all the well wishes. Absolutely appreciate it. And it was a wild show tonight, man. That just flew by like nothing. And I also noticed a whole bunch of new subs came in to the channel. Like I said, starting tomorrow, I will be reproducing. Jesus Christ. I will be producing more content starting again tomorrow. Last week I had COVID, as I had said, so no content on the channel. This week I am relatively healthy, not hungover, and ready to rock. So content fires up again tomorrow. So go back over, check the mag show. Obviously, stay tuned to us every Monday on XNC, and go check out 4xp.com, man. So everybody have a great night. We'll talk soon.
I appreciate you, Meg. Happy birthday to you. And
thank you.
Keep an eye on the channel.
I don't know. All the super chats, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you for all the super chats. Really appreciate all that. Love every second of it, man.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're so awesome. I don't know what's going on the channel this week because I made a review and a preview and a weekly news video, but thank you guys, everybody, for all your support, and we will catch you next week on, I don't know, just thank you for everything. Meg, I'm just stalling. I'm trying to find the button. Have a rest.
There's another one last super chat just came in.
Oh, bro, thank you for that. Thank you. Where is
it?
Thank you for the $20 from Briggs Country.
Yeah.
Bro, he says, happy birthday, Mag, and thanks to both of you for a great show.
Thank you so
Briggs.
much, man.
I'll make sure that gets over to Mag. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy Bomb just sent a link to the channel as well, by the way. You want to check out the Mag show. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and the views on the videos are going up and up and up, so that's a great thing, man.
Mag hit 1,000 subs last week, too, so awesome.
Yep, so climbing, slowly but surely. Here we go. So anyway.
Thanks to 4XP for sponsoring today's show. We appreciate you so much for keeping the lights on in the studio and everything. We will see you guys next week. Hit the like button on the way out. Send a comment and tell your mom we love her. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'll tell her for you.
You'll be there first.